Well, hello there. Finally made it. Having Wi Fi problems today. Yes. I realized I should have checked my hair a little better before I went on the air. But anyway, here I am, finally on here. This was on a day when I was ready to actually be on closer to the time I promise I'll be on. And then I spent almost 40 minutes trying to get a Wi Fi signal. And it was particularly frustrating because I'm trying to see what this now I'm trying to see what my computer is doing right here. I'm assuming I'm on live right now. I'm trying to see if I have any comments here. Not yet. I guess people have to find me. But Mercury retrograde is retrograding its dear little self all over the place right now. Hi, Kelly. How are you doing in this Mercury retrograde? I was just saying that I spent 40 minutes trying to get my Wi Fi to work so I could get on here to be with all of you today. And I almost thought I was going to have to abandon the show. And then on top of that, on my iAd, I have some of my show notes on here, and because that's in the cloud, guess what? I couldn't even access my notes. And oh yeah, really gonna be flying blind today. Yeah, Kelly, how has it been crazy for you, if I may ask? Or maybe you don't want to tell people, but it's hi, poet MZ3. Did I say that correctly? Hello there. We were just talking about the Mercury retrograde here and Wi-Fi issues and technicalities and how I couldn't even access my show notes on my iPad. So let's see what happens. Let's see if I'm going to get through the show today before something breaks down again. Poet MZ3, how have you been affected by the Mercury retrograde, or have you been one of the lucky people? Some people tell me they're just fine. I thought, well, that's good. That's good. Well, I'm not one of those people. I actually had someone last week, a very dear friend of mine, say that her sister was born during a Mercury retrograde, and that supposedly makes you immune to them. Well, I was born during a Mercury retrograde, and I can assure you I am not immune to them in any way. But I've had about my fill today, and we're getting a big frigging heat wave here in Los Angeles. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, it's already here. But the weather forecast claims it's starting tomorrow. Not only in some areas are we going to be hitting 100-degree weather, we're going to get humidity, sweltering, muggy, icky humidity. I mean, already I went outside to take my garbage out, and it already felt like a swamp out there. So I just hate to think what it's going to be like. I'm not a fan of this weather. Never have, never will be. I hear people who say, "Oh, don't you just love this hot weather?" I want to say, are you out of your mind? Anyway, what's going on with the two of you? Are you doing okay with the retrograde right now? Kelly, just really busy. It seems like one job gets done, 10 more pop up, and we have to have our sewer line replaced. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. I mean, in some ways it can be good, when you get a job done and more pop up, as long as it's bringing you prosperity and success. But I have a feeling that's not what you're talking about, and especially when you have to have your sewer line replaced. Oh, I am terribly sorry to hear that. And you have humidity and 90-degree temperatures. Yeah, it is just, it's awful. I've never adapted to this. I grew up on the East Coast. I live in LA right now, but I grew up on the East Coast in Virginia, and also spent years in Richmond, Virginia, where I went to college. And I used to go up to Washington, D.C., and I was very amused to learn only a few weeks ago that Washington, D.C. was actually built on top of a swamp. Well, there's certainly a lot of jokes we could make there, but just in all seriousness, that would explain some of the muggy climate there, because Washington, D.C. is a place where you can just stand. You just literally stand and sweat rolls off of you and you're soaked within 30 seconds, in the middle of the summer. In Virginia, we get like that. When I first moved to Los Angeles, we actually had a much drier climate out here. It was closer to a true desert climate, but global warming shifts, what have you, have definitely brought humidity to here as well. And we get a lot of it from the Baja Coast, Mexico and that area. And they have hurricanes down there, which can send a lot of monsoon weather up here. They're forecasting high humidity, high heat, and possibly thunderstorms on top of that. I just hope and pray that the electricity holds out. As long as I have air conditioning, can't really afford to keep running it like I do, but I have no choice. I don't spend a penny on heat in the wintertime. I can't remember the last time I turned my heat on, but air conditioning, I more than make up for it. I must spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars every year on air conditioning. And because I live in this really great old 1941 apartment, Art Deco crown molding, fireplace, hardwood floors, French windows, all that great stuff. But it is in an older building and it's on a second floor. So it's a lot like an attic, heat rising up to an attic. And that's what I feel like I'm in right now, an attic. Yeah, electricity and water. Yeah, they get us somewhere, don't they? Or we get gotten somewhere. But I'm on here because my Wi-Fi wasn't working, and I'm on here late. But I was also working on phone calls for Dr. Whimsy Anderson, and usually I get really, really wonderful people. I had one woman who was a little irate with me. "Don't you solicit me?" And I was like, "I'm not soliciting you, ma'am. I'm sorry you took a negative approach to that." But anyway, that's another story. Tracy B K5Y, yours a lot as well. Yeah, it is just a necessity. I don't do well with heat. I get very irritable. Watch out, folks. I get really irritable during hot, humid weather. It just puts me in the worst mood. And I don't know about you, but to me, it feels like an anxiety attack that will not go away. It's like an anxiety attack that lasts for several days and nights. I'm just so bitch. But okay, I'm bitching and moaning. There's not a thing I can do about it. God, turn off this weather. There's not a thing I can do. Any of us can do. We just have to accept it. But I guess it does bring out the cranky part of me. Yeah, I know it Tracy B, as you're saying, it's hard to sleep in it. Energetically, it's just hard to sleep in, even when you have your air conditioner on, and you have cold things down. There's just something about the energy of this. I don't know why, but to me, it's always felt angry. Like the weather is angry. It's mean. It's angry. It's hostile. I've also seen cartoons. Okay, it's a little vulgar here, but they showed the devil farting hot air on the city. I thought, yeah, that's kind of what it feels like. Flatulence from the devil. So what's going on with you guys? I always count on people to come on here and give me some topics to talk about, ask me questions. I'd like to get some more people on here before I start going into some of my topics. But do you guys have anything you'd like me to bring up? Anything to ask me? Maybe a lot of people are just out of commission because of the heat right now. I'll see where this goes. Maybe this will be a shorter show than usual. A couple of weeks ago, I had my first ever 3-hour show. I had so many people coming on here asking me questions. Oh, Christy, hi. How are you doing? And I've been asking everybody. Oh, I can see your picture there. I love it when I can see pictures of people, what they look like. Some of you, because of Dr. Whimsy, your clients and people who view that show, I get to talk to some of you once in a while on the phone. But it's nice to see you, Christy. How's your Mercury retrograde going? I was just saying to everybody that my Wi-Fi went out for 40 minutes. That's why I was so late coming on here. Poet MZ3, it seems everything is declining. You're making me laugh. It's been a while. Oh, that's sweet of you. Thank you. Um, I really appreciate that. I felt like I was being a little bitch here moaning about everything and complaining, but um, that's quite a compliment. You know, I'm a big believer in all seriousness about the power of laughter. You know, I've always said that people who come here to make us laugh, you know, people who incarnate into this world like Lucille Ball, Charlie Chaplin, Robin Williams, Joan Rivers, we can go on and on there, come here with a mission. And I've always considered making people laugh to be just as important as, say, the person who found the vaccine for polio or someone who contributed to world peace, because laughter heals, and laughter is a very high vibration. It brings people up. Dear friend of mine who owns Lucille Ball's childhood home is a huge fan. I don't think I'm violating her privacy here because she talks about this herself, but I asked her once how she became such a big Lucille Ball fan, and she said it was when she was going through chemotherapy for breast cancer. She's wonderful now, but she was very sick for a while, and she said it was I Love Lucy, just watching it on a loop, watching endless I Love Lucy episodes that kept her going and gave her the will to keep living and fighting. And same way, I'm a big believer in laughter. And Tracy, thank you for saying you love my cat. Where is she now? She's in my kitchen right now. And if she chooses to wake up and come over, I'll feature her on the show. But otherwise, I'm not going to do that because if you've ever seen her here on the show, she can get quite rambunctious. And many times I have to grab her before she lunges for the keyboard and almost disconnects the whole show here. But I love my cat too. Thank you. Yeah, my cat's my heart. I'm a real pushover for her, little Sasha. Let's see. Tennis Fanga 1513 pictures. Daughters. Tennis. I have gray hair. Christy here. Oh, Christy here. Okay, I'm so sorry. Of course, I thought that was you. That was you. Well, gray hair too. We're part of that club. You know, years ago, I did used to color my hair, but it was just a losing battle. Any of us who've ever done it. I mean, it works fine in the beginning. Like for me, it happened in the late 30s, early 40s. When you have a little bit, you can kind of cover it up. But when it gets like this, it's a losing battle. It just is. You've got, I mean, within 3 days, you've got white roots coming in, and oh my God, what I used to go through. I'd use this brown hair dye and, of course, do it in my bathroom. And as careful as I tried to be, I'd still have brown hair dye splattered all over my shower curtain, all over my rugs, all over my floor, all over my walls. I was like, I don't know how this happens. It was just so hard to clean up. And also the thing with hair dye, it always is much too dark in the beginning for the first week. Second week, it looks like it's supposed to look. And then the third week, all the roots are coming in, it's fading. And by the fourth week, it looks like hell until you just start the whole process over again. So I just said, I'm going to let God color my hair from this point onward. Tracy BK, can you show me some examples of your soul pictures? I wish I had some here handy. I do a lot of portraits. Well, I tell you what, I never get up and leave blank space here, but I'm going to walk across the room and bring some of my art over. Bear with me just one quick moment here. Oh. Okay. Well, now, the reason I call what I do soul portraits is because as an intuitive, I tap into the soul of my subject. I very much make a soul connection with that person. And I always promote myself that if you have a family member, a loved one, a friend, someone whose portrait you would like to have and receive an intuitive message along with that, that's what I can do. I spend several hours usually on a portrait, and because of that connection, it's almost impossible for me not to hear things. So I don't know, I just grabbed work here. I don't know if I have anything here. I wasn't expecting to be asked about this. Just one second. What do I have? Anything I can show? Yeah. Yes, I do, as a matter of fact. And I've shown these before, but I don't think you have seen them. I don't know if you saw uh, the intuitive reading that I did with Amelia Earhart that's on my channel. That was one of the few videos I've ever done that actually went viral. I got about 48,000 views on that. But this is the portrait I did of Amelia Earhart to go along with that. And if you'll notice, I spend a lot of attention on eyes, even though I can be quite literal in my interpretation of the portrait. I also incorporate abstraction, especially in eyes, because that's where a lot of the energy is. And I know that it's a cliche to say the eyes are the window of the soul, but they are. You want to look into somebody's soul, you look deep into their eyes. So I always spend a lot of time on that when I'm doing a portrait. In fact, I consider eyes to be non-negotiable. There's a lot of things where, you can play with it a little, make a few mistakes here and there. But if I do not get eyes correct, I will toss a piece out and start over. Now, I don't toss out too much artwork anymore, but I used to. Let's see what else I have here. I have this one of Princess Diana. I really spent a lot of time with her on this because I got such a long intuitive message from her that I'm going to divide it up into 2 or 3 segments, and I'm going to post it later. But this is the portrait. She is very, very difficult to capture in art. This was my 3rd attempt because she was so enigmatic in a very, very subtle way. And maybe you can tell me if I captured that look on her face, that enigmatic quality in her eyes. But that's my Princess Diana. I'm still working on this one of Ruth Bader Ginsburg. And again, look how I abstracted the eyes. But what intrigued me when I channeled her, and I also looked at her photo, were all of the colors in her eyes. I found little bits of yellow and blue and hazel and green and brown. And because she was so complex and multifaceted. That's my portrait of Jackie Kennedy. I've channeled her for over 30 years. I'm very close with her soul. And most of what I receive from her, I don't share publicly because it's usually more private, personal information I get, but she has given me some public statements from time to time. But anyway, those are some examples of my my work. So I hope that answers your question about soul portraits and wanting to see them. I'm going to set this aside here. Yes, I'm so prepared today. It is so Mercury retrograde. Unbelievable. As I said to people now joining me, I was late getting on here because my Wi-Fi was down for almost 40 minutes. It's really frustrating. Plus, I had a lot of show notes on my iPad, which were in the cloud. So guess what? I couldn't access those either. Let me get back to my comments here. Let's see. Why aren't my comments moving? They're stuck. Darn it. Let's see. Okay, there we go. Let's see here. Just missed. Oh, hi. Hi. Thank you for joining. F1 Fanic. Hi. I have cats too. At the moment, I have 2. I have always had cats. I love them. Well, I love them too. I've had cats since I was 11 years old. My family was always about dogs. And it was actually the Disney movie, That Darn Cat, which was the beginning of my love of Siamese cats. And I begged my mom and dad for my 11th birthday for a Siamese kitten. And they grudgingly gave me a Siamese kitten. They let me go and pick him out, and everything was wonderful. And do you know, my mom and dad fell in love with that cat. My dad just became such a pushover for him. And I've loved Siamese cats my whole life. But yes, I know there are all these wonderful, deserving cats in shelters who need homes. I've come close to getting a regular cat, but I always go back to Siamese. I can't help it. I love their intelligence. I love their personality, or I should add plural, their personalities, because it's like having 10 cats in one. And I just love their beautiful elegance. Someone who also has Siamese cats said to me, a Siamese cat is like a cross between a swan and a monkey. I think that says it. Tracy BK5Y. I am a crazy cat lady. LOL. I guess I'm an honorary crazy cat lady. Andy, hello there. Yes. And Andy, you had a question for me in email. I didn't get a chance to respond to you. You were asking about, I believe, discourse. And I just know nothing about that. I've never used it. I'm so sorry. I was going to tell you that. So I hope that answers your question here. If not, just let me know. But yeah, Bonnie Tyler. Bonnie Tyler, Lindsey Graham, Sam Neill. I think I'm going to keep my feelings to myself about Lindsey Graham. Like I could say, but I'm going to take the high road there. Just like on The View today, the women were talking about it. And I think it was, I forget which one, but she said, she didn't especially care for him, but she believed in being respectful. She said, look, a dead person can't hear our comments. Well, she can, but anyway, her stance was the dead person may not be aware of these things, but the family is, and it hurts the family very much. So I thought that's a good point. Now, Sam Neill, of course, he was a respected character actor. Now, Bonnie Tyler, whoa, loved her. I admit I hadn't thought about her much in the last few years, but I remember, Holding Out for a Hero and Total Eclipse of the Heart. Oh, God, what a voice, what a presence. And those songs are still such a part of our culture now. And I was surprised to hear she was in bad health and she died because she looked wonderful. She was 75 and she still looked sensational and still had her voice. So we're sorry to see her go. Let me see if I can get these comments to move. They're not. I'm having a Mercury retrograde day. Now my comments aren't moving. What's going on here? They're stuck. Oh, this is weird. This is really weird. Let's see. Hopefully my comments are going to move. Otherwise, I'm going to be in a lot of trouble here and I'm going to have to cut the show short. Let's see. Hi, Chuck. It's Nick. I have the same question I always have. Do you have any more? Any update on Marie Antoinette? I knew you were going to ask me, and I'm so sorry. This week has just been insane for me, and I haven't had a chance to work on that or any channel readings. Truthfully, if to do this, you've got to be in the right place. You've got to be meditative. You've got to be grounded. And I have been anything but meditative and grounded the last few days, but I promise you I'll work on that. Why can't I get my comments to move here? This is so strange. It's just not. Maybe if somebody types into the comment, it'll move. I don't know. Let's see here. Yeah, okay. I am in trouble here. That's okay. Now I'm moving. Okay, good. Folks, are you having the Mercury retrograde that I'm having? This is like, okay. Let's see. Andy, I got my Jurassic Park 3 the same day Sam Neill died. Whoa. That is interesting. The same day. I don't know what to read into that. I don't know if maybe his soul was reaching out to you. I've had things like that happen, personally anyway. I was very close with Bart Andrews, who was the author of the I Love Lucy book. He and I worked together on a new I Love Lucy project. I did a lot of research with him, and he was in very poor health toward the end, and he was in a nursing home. He had several strokes. And when I first knew him, he had autographed a copy of his coffee table book, Loving Lucy, to me. Beautiful, beautiful book. I just loved. And I told him how much I had always wanted a hardcover copy. I just had a soft cover that I had for many years. And he gave it to me and he wrote a beautiful inscription in it. And I was dusting my books that day. Yes, I was dusting. And there was my vacuum and everything, cleaning books. And that copy of that book fell off the shelf and opened up to the page. Dear Chuck, I will always be grateful to the redhead for bringing us together. Love, Bart. And minutes later, his sister Kathy called me on the phone to tell me that he had just passed away. So I know that was Bart saying goodbye to me. You know, that was, and it was so typical of him, a man who loved writing, who loved books, who wrote 27 books, that he would use a book to say goodbye to me. Okay, let's see if my comments are going to move. Okay, good. Hey, Stephanie, I'm so happy you're here. What did I do with my phone here? Because I wanted to mention, and I want to make sure I get this right here. What was this here? Somebody has sent me a message here. Never mind. I'll look at the message later. So, okay, I will answer that later. Sorry. But Stephanie, I wanted to give you a big congratulations and give you a little shout out here and a little promotion because your movie, Hero Without an O, is going to have a special online screening. I'm trying to find my note here. I had this all down here on my phone so I could read it on the show. But it's I think you've posted the official trailer for it. There's going to be an online screening. Please keep us up to date on that if you want to type anything in the comments here, because I want to promote you to the best of my ability. My friend Stephanie is a gifted filmmaker, and she has some profound messages to share. It's her film Hero Without an O. And let me read this here. It's a journey through the feminine, where wounds become wisdom, silence finds its voice, and healing becomes inheritance. That's beautiful. And already you've been a semi-finalist in several film festivals. The Prague Underground Film Festival, semi-finalist, Chicago Filmmaker Awards. You were a winner, the Niagara Falls International Short Festival. Let's see here. You won Best Human Rights Film. And let's see, you've been official selection in London Film Festivals, Brussels World Film Festival, Milan Filmmakers Awards, San Diego International Film Awards. I can go on here. But Stephanie, I'm very, very proud of you. And I just want to share you with the world. And Tammy too. Tammy you have a best-selling book on Amazon. Really proud of these two. These two sisters inspire me constantly. And one of the things I love about my friend Stephanie, my friend of more than 30 years, which that in itself, I think, blows us both away. Stephanie, I've said this many times, I admire the way you keep kicking doors open. You don't let things stop you. You just kick open doors until you finally get a door that lets you in. And you've done it right now. This is a big doorway, and I'm proud of you, and I love you very much. Let's see here. What are some other comments? And let's see here if I can get this to move. Okay. Okay. You just skipped a lot of things here. Let me go back. You were very patient with me today. Thank you. Jennifer. David Seilers. Thank you, very Diana. Thank you for saying that. I worked hard on that portrait. I think I put about 20 hours in that. So I appreciate it. And I said that was my third attempt. She's very hard to capture. Jennifer Petunia. Hi, Chuck. I just saw you were live. Can't stay long. Hope you're doing well. Well, I'm doing as well as can be with the heat wave, the humidity, the Mercury retrograde, my Wi-Fi going down. I'm here. Thank you for asking. Cassie Lake Beef 5B, you seem to capture the spiritual essence of your subjects, Chuck. Your quality is so far and above. It deserves a gallery showing. Well, that's very, very kind of you. A little difficult to get into galleries. I find that it involves a lot of politics, and sometimes you, the artist, have to pay money to show your work in the gallery. It's just like I've known people who have rock bands where if it's a prominent venue here in Los Angeles, like, oh, say, for example, the Whiskey A Go-Go on the Sunset Strip, where Jim Morrison performed and Jimi Hendrix and others. I was shocked to find that performers have to pay to perform there rather than the other way around. And I found that with galleries, it's easier said than done. I don't want to be defeatist about it, and I certainly would love to do some gallery showings, but I haven't had too much luck getting in. And that's always the thing people say to me. Well, haven't you thought of putting your work in a gallery? Yes, thought of it many times. It's just the actual execution of that. Now, my friend Stephanie, you've exhibited some things. Maybe you can give me some pointers there. And once Stephanie was even gracious, you were very gracious to include me in one of your shows. You let me put some of my work in there. I really appreciate that. F1 Fanic, perhaps you could scroll back up. I had a question. Okay, let me go back up. Were you asked, was it Marie Antoinette? Hold on. Let's see if it'll let me go back up. Unless I already answered your question about the Marie Antoinette channeling. And also I plan to do a portrait on that also. Okay, I'm looking here. I don't see anything else. Maybe just ask me again if I missed it. I'm so sorry about that. Oh, yes, Jess Smisky. I love that movie. Dean Jones and Haley Mills. I have not seen that movie in decades, but I do remember it. It made me fall in love with Siamese cats. And hi, Joyce. Oh, I'm happy to have you here. Joyce, I'm having a bad Mercury retrograde. It's really, really, really bad. There have been a few times I've wanted to get on the phone and call you. Joyce Petrus is a gifted astrologer, and I'm happy to say that she's my own astrologer, and you've helped me out so many times, and you've answered a lot of my inane questions, and you've been very, very patient with me. I've tried not to bother you, but it's been difficult. I don't want to be overly dramatic. It's been challenging. It's been challenging. Jennifer Petunia 7, Chuck, I want to have you do a portrait of my deceased dad and brother. You emailed me a while back. Thank you, Chuck. I think maybe it was a long time ago you emailed me, but I tell you what, could you shoot me another email? And you have it, don't you? dransfieldchuck@gmail.com. It's also in the comments here. Please, please, I would be honored to do that for you. Completely honored. And we'll discuss it. I'll work with you on that. Do I paint my cat? Sometimes I want to say inadvertently. I mean, I know what you mean, doing a portrait of my cat, but sometimes when I'm here working on my artwork and I've got all my brushes and paints out and everything, and Sasha gets a little too inquisitive. She's been splattered. She once dipped her tail in some of my paint. So in that respect, she's definitely been painted. But, I've never done a portrait of her. I have done pet portraits. In fact, I do get messages from pets when I paint their portraits. So if anyone's interested, there was someone not too long ago, I did a great big canvas painting of her cat who had passed away recently. And he had a little message for her. They usually do. I mean, our pets are extremely close to us. And I feel like they become our guardian angels when they pass to the other side. And I've said this before, I hope it's true about the Rainbow Bridge when we go to the other side. I'm actually more excited about being reunited with my dogs and cats and birds and other pets than some people in my life. Sorry, Grandma. Sorry, Mom and Dad. No. I mean, I would actually want to see them first. The thought of having all my dogs together again, all my cats together again, my birds, maybe even some of my fish. I don't know. I've had so many pets in my life. That would really make me happy. So I hope it's true. Let's see here. Other comments. Christy here. Chuck, your channel portraits are fantastic. Thank you. Thank you. Had a silver Persian, Siamese, tabby, calico, ginger. They're just the greatest animals. And I'm the only person in my family who likes cats. I have a wonderful family, my sister and all my nieces and nephews, but none of them like cats. My sister hates cats. And I'm like, how are we related? I mean, don't get me wrong. I adore dogs too. I adore them. But cats just have a special affinity in my heart. And I think that cats are the pets of people who tend to be a little more unconventional and creative and artistic and intellectual and all that good stuff. I think we're in good company if we love cats. F1 Fennec, I've had Siamese cats. They can be very vocal. Yes, they can. In fact, I swear they learn how to talk. Every Siamese I've ever had, after they've been with you for a few years, they start picking up on the language. They understand you. And I swear that sometimes they try to form words. I know Sasha, she's extremely expressive with her meows, puts lots of emotion and feeling into them. I can always tell I can get the gist of what she wants to say to me. F1 Fennec, refresh your page, Chuck. I don't know how to do that without turning the whole show off, unfortunately. I'm not tech savvy, but thank you for the suggestion. But anyway, it's moving right now. Oh, Andy, you used to have a Siamese cat and you found him as a stray and you were a kid and he was declawed. Oh dear. I bet you the owners lost him. He ran away from home. That was clearly a domestic house cat if it was declawed. Oh dear. But Andy, I'm sure you and your family gave him a good home. Gave him a good home. And obviously it's like he chose you. He came to you. So maybe he was meant to spend his later years with you. Jennifer Tuniachuk, you have an amazing gift. Well, thank you very kindly. I do appreciate that. I stay very humble about what I do. What we have is God-given. It's just, we have it. And I feel that with our talents, we have a sacred responsibility to use what we have for the higher good and share it with the people. I do strive to do that. And I know, well, thank you for saying that about me. I feel whatever gift I have, it's a combination of talent, but it's also a lot of work and a lot of refinement. I mean, going back to my childhood, all the drawings, all the paintings I've done, all the things that I've thrown away and discarded, ripped up, canvases I've broken over my knee in fits of anger. All the years of art training I had as a teenager. I went to college, studied art for 4 years. I've worked in it professionally, but it's a lot of continual refinement and work. And it's like Mikhail Baryshnikov still going to ballet class, still going to the bar, not the drink kind, but the kind where you're doing your plies and leg lifts and working every day. It's the singers who spend a half an hour to an hour every day vocalizing and doing their scales. The athlete constantly practicing. That's the way it is with art. Any of the arts, I feel. We have to take our gift and keep working it. We work our talent. And I'm a perfectionist. I try to give my best. And, on the subject of perfectionism, I'll talk about that a little later, but I spent Saturday night shooting about 15 individual segments. I'm working to get more videos on my channel, and Dr. Whimsy Anderson and I, on our show on Tuesdays, Taco Tuesdays, on the Oracle of Whimsy channel, and also on Thursdays, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, we did the topic of perfectionism. And I had a lot of my own research and show notes on that I only got to touch on very lightly on the show. And I thought, well, why don't I just further go with this? Talking about the topic of perfection is actually illusion, but excellence is a choice. I have it in my notes here, but one leads to endless striving, perfectionism, while the other leads to growth. And the goal is not to lower your standards, it's to replace impossible expectations with healthy ones. And, I I strive for that because I can be just as self-punishing as anyone when it comes to perfectionism, and I always say that perfectionism is good for me because it's kind of like the carrot on the stick. You keep going out for it and you never can quite grab it, meaning I certainly know it's impossible to ever achieve true perfectionism, but it's that striving for it. It's that. So I think that's where it comes in, that striving for excellence. At least that's what I'm telling myself. I try to be healthy about it, but I find that very tantalizing to me. That notion that I can always go a little further, be a little better with each drawing, with each thing I do. Uh, and that always fascinates me. And I love that challenge. In fact, that challenge is irresistible to me. And you'll see the videos. I know I may not post them for a few more days. I may wait until after this Mercury retrograde is over before I put up new material. But I had my painting of Lucille Ball behind me. I have this great big canvas painting I did of her in 1939. Very, very glamorous. I don't have it here to show you right now, but you'll see it in the videos. But I thought Lucy would be good as a literal and figurative backdrop for me because she was a relentless perfectionist in her own work. When she was doing her comedy, her coworkers, frankly, she drove a lot of her coworkers crazy. Because when she was on the set of I Love Lucy, she would push people very, very hard. But people around her said nobody pushed anyone harder than her own self. She was tireless in the pursuit of perfection in her comedy. I tell the story in one of my videos of, we all know that episode where Lucy and Ethel are stranded in the restaurant being forced to wash dishes because Ricky and Fred left them with the bill and they didn't have any money, so they had to wash dishes. And it's like 2 a.m. and they're there crying in the soapy water. And they get the bright idea to get on the phone with Ricky and Fred and convince them that they're being held up at gunpoint. And Lucy takes a paper bag. He's going to shoot. Bam! With the paper bag. Well, to achieve that, Lucille Ball, and this is documented by coworkers, spent 3 hours continually popping paper bags until she found just the right type of bag with just the right sound that she wanted for the comedy. That's how much of a perfectionist she was. The one where she was working in the Italian restaurant and she's flipping the pizza dough up in the air and doing it perfectly. I mean, perfectly, like someone had been throwing pizza dough their whole life. This was after a long day of rehearsal on I Love Lucy. She would then go to an Italian restaurant on La Cienega Boulevard in Hollywood and then go back in the kitchen and spend several more hours every night for like a week learning how to make pizza and flip pizza dough. So for that one moment on the show, she could do it so brilliantly and perfectly. But I think Lucy did have a healthy attitude about it. I think a little bit like I speak of for myself. It's that pursuit of excellence. And at least for myself, that's irresistible. So it's all on how you look at perfectionism. So I'll let you know more about the series when I post them. I have enough episodes for about 2 weeks. Let's see, maybe some of you creative people out there have your own opinions about perfectionism. I know, like you, Stephanie, you're a brilliant artist, a very creative person, and you have so many facets to your creativity. Moses, Warrior Queen's Magic. Hi, Chuck. Happy to join. Yes, Mercury had it in on me. I had to take so much stuff to stay calm, focused, carry a chariot tarot in my bag. Really? Are you guys familiar with a flower essence remedy called Rescue Remedy? I could probably take that by the gallon. You're supposed to take 6 drops in a glass of water. I could just chug that stuff down. Yeah, I do get high strung during Mercury retrogrades. You're probably seeing it right now. Oh, Andy, I haven't heard from Ward lately. I hope he's okay. If anybody knows anything about Ward, please let me know. He used to be on here all the time. Okay, let me go down a little bit here. Oh, you see Charlie Chaplin on my wall. Yes, these are all autographed. Um, you know, people have been in my home know I have a lot of Hollywood memorabilia. It's just a passion of mine. I love old Hollywood, 20s, 30s, 40s, and even into the 50s. But I really love that era tremendously. I know I've had past lives then. And so anyway, this wall here is devoted to my silent screen stars. I have Harold Lloyd, Charlie Chaplin, Clara Bow, that's autographed, Harry Langdon. I have Rudolph Valentino. Let's who else? Paula Negri, Buster Keaton, Douglas Fairbanks, and could just turn around and look at my wall now, couldn't I? But I was going to say John Gilbert, and John Gilbert just had obviously didn't have a birthday. He's been dead for many years, but he had the anniversary of his birth just the other day. And John Gilbert was like basically the Clark Gable of the silent era. Some would say Rudolph Valentino, but really John Gilbert's career took off about the same time Valentino died. And he was very, very big for a while in silence. And he was most famously paired in 4 movies with Greta Garbo. In fact, they allegedly became lovers, and allegedly they were engaged, and allegedly Garbo stood him up at the altar. And I'm so sorry, where's my phone? I'm going to turn this off. I tell people not to call me. Shoot. I can't find my phone to turn this off. Okay, we are really having Mercury retrograde today. I have this one friend. I tell, do not call me during the show, and it does it anyway. Okay. What was I saying? John Gilbert. Yeah, allegedly Garbo stood him up at the altar. And he was someone who had his career destroyed by sound movies. Oh, there's my phone. Okay, I'll be prepared if it happens again. He had a beautiful voice. I don't think his voice was the problem, but it just didn't match, I guess, the way people expected him to sound. People were expecting him to be rugged and macho, and he had this more lighter little, I don't want to say effete, because it was a masculine voice, but it was just a little too uppity, a little too polished. I don't think it met with what people were expecting, and his career died very, very quickly. In fact, if you know the movie, there have been 4 versions of the movie A Star is Born, and going all the way back to the 1937 version with Janet Gaynor and Frederick March. And of course, there was the Judy Garland version, Streisand version, the Lady Gaga version, but it was said to have been based on John Gilbert, because his wife, as his star was descending and he was falling into alcoholism, Virginia Bruce, I think was his wife, her career was on the rise. And that's where the Star is Born story came from. And he died only in his late 30s, alcoholism, and he had a heart attack. But anyway, enough of that. But anyway, those are the ones on my wall behind me. Yes, you're correct. That's a long way of saying, yes, that's Charlie Chaplin on my wall. Okay. Oh, thank you, Andy, for that. What was that? Is that Chaplin a new picture? No, that Chaplin, I've had that frame piece on this wall here ever since I've lived in this apartment for like over 11 years. That's the same one. It's not autographed photo. It's an autograph on a piece of paper that I put in with the photo. I have 2 Charlie Chaplins. I have another one in my hallway, and that one was signed on the photo, and it was signed in the 1917, and it's in that old-fashioned thick ink. It's very authentic. Let's see. Chuck, is that Chaplin? Oh, yeah, Andy, we're asking about that. And and people are congratulating Stephanie here, Warrior Queen's Magic. You should do a live readings on MTN networks. Ask Ben to join you, would land a huge platform plus more art, folks. That is a good idea. Actually, I would love to do something like that. I just don't know how you get on a show like that. usually you can't submit yourself. You have to have an agent, which I don't have an agent right now. I haven't had that in a long time. So I don't know if a self-submission would be taken seriously or not, but I'd love to do something like that. In fact, I would love to do like a cable channel, local news or something, doing entertainment stories. I would just be in heaven. Okay, let's see if this is going to let me do this. Okay, let me go down a little. Gotta go down just a little bit more. Sorry. It's very Mercury retrograde today. Very Mercury retrograde. Okay, here we go. And yes, you can see me sweating. We're having a heat wave right now. Okay, Dr. Stephanie, thank you, my love, and thanks to everyone. I will let everyone know the release info. Remember, do what you are meant to do now. The world will always tell you it's impossible. It's not. I agree 100% with you, Dr. Stephanie. Absolutely. Just the fact that I'm doing things like this, doing shows like this, doing what I do with Dr. Whimsy Anderson, who got me into this wonderful world, doing readings for people, doing my channeled readings. Those are things that I frankly would not have had the guts to have done on my own. I needed people to push me and take me out of my comfort zones, to teach me the power that I had all along. And I'm doing it. I'm just doing it right now. And I used to think this was impossible. Nothing's impossible. We're all life forces. Warrior Queen's Magic, once you go to festivals, local farmers markets. Well, I have done that sort of thing, but even places like that, some places make you pay a lot of money for a table. They just don't let you go there for free, but I have done that. Let's see, let me slowly. Oh, F1 Fanic, I did answer your question. Yes, you were asking about the Marie Antoinette channeling. I promise you, I want to do it right. And I think I have like 60% of it, but I feel like she wants to come through, say more. Sometimes when I do a channel reading, they actually come in and want to edit and revise. Or they'll say, I think you could interpret this a little better than what I was trying to say to you. That's what I'm getting from her. But I'm going to have a good reading, but I want to wait until it's just right. And I have my portrait to go with it. And I thank you, because you were the one who asked me to do that in the first place. Oh, Joyce, thank you for saying you enjoy being my personal astrologer. Well, I take that with honor, because you are so good. You're so gifted at what you do, and you do give me a lot of peace of mind. Warrior Queen's Magic, can you do one of my mom, Margaret? Yeah, again, shoot me an email, and we can discuss the price and everything, and also what type of portrait you would like. My information is in the comments, but I'll just say it again. It's dransfieldchuck, one word, @gmail.com. And we can discuss it. People will say, well, how much do you charge for a portrait? Well, it depends on what kind of portrait. Like, do you want a big canvas painting? Do you want a little 9x12 watercolor? Do you want a pencil sketch? I try to be versatile to accommodate people. People who can't afford a lavish piece of art. Well, maybe I can do something simpler for you. It's something that's within your budget. I'm very much about that. Is to be accessible as I can possibly be. But yes, I would love to do that. Be very honored to do that. Yes, please reach out to me, Jennifer Petunia. Thank you so much. And Warrior Queen's Magic. Oh, you flatter me. Thank you. Thank you for your compliment. Or my pet Bailey, Jack Russell. I miss him so much. But I see signs from other doggies all the time. Yeah, I know. I get different pets who reach out to me. I had a cat that died January of 2001. She died almost 19 years old, and I still miss her. I still feel her presence. And it still at times feels strange that she's not here. It's like she should still be alive. And I've often thought, what a cruel trick of nature that we have pets and we love them with all of our hearts and souls. And then we get maybe what, 16 years or so on average with them. It feels to me like dogs and cats should live more like 30 or 40 years at least. But I guess God had a plan. I guess even the animals had a plan. It's like, I've always said that dogs and cats are like angels wrapped up in dog and cat fur. And maybe that's their intention, just to come here and touch our lives for a little bit. And then they go on to the other side again. Who knows what the answer is to that one? Guess we'll find out one day. What was this, Jennifer? I can't wait to see if my fur baby's on the other side too. I know. Sometimes when I'm really down, I think about that. I just think, what a lovely thought. All my pets together. And then I think, well, they're probably with us anyway. I strongly believe the souls of our pets come and visit us from time to time and watch out over us. It's just the most unconditional love that we ever know from our pets. War Queen's Magic. My mom was a cat animal lady. We had cats all over the house, horses, cats, dogs, geese. Good for you. That's a happy home with animals. F1 Fanic, they say, don't trust men who don't like cats. I'm not sure what they say about women who don't like them. I would say the same. Don't trust them. Well, maybe it's just people who are not as enlightened. Maybe that's what it is. I know I think Mark Twain said something to that effect. Or he said something a little more positive. He said, you tell me you're a cat lover. That's all I need to know for you to be my friend. And Mark Twain loved cats so much that, he traveled a lot for his work, his writings and so forth, traveled the country. And wherever he would stay, he would often rent cats to stay with him. I don't know how he went about this renting cats, but he would rent cats when he couldn't have his own with him. He loved them so much. And I guess, and they inspired him. I'm sure they did. I know Sasha is sometimes a muse for me. Many times she's a muse for me. Or is that MEWS? Muse. Okay. Comments here. Thank you for sharing your talents, tracing this Chuck. Have a peaceful evening. Oh, well, thank you, Cassie Lake, for joining. Thank you. Oh, Jennifer Petunia, love Dr. Whimsy. She's very knowledgeable and smart. I got to say, Dr. Whimsy Anderson is one of the most brilliant people I've ever known in my life. She and I traveled to Europe together just recently. We were there a couple of months ago. I can't believe 2 months have already gone by. We were in London, Cardiff, Wales, and then in Rome and Florence. And, we're very close. We started out working together in the health industry about 12 years ago, and not in my wildest expectations that I think we would come to this point where we would be doing YouTube shows together and readings and world travels. But, I'll say this, most all of my best friends are brilliant, well-educated women. I've thought about this often. You all know my friend Anastasia. She's been on this show. She has her own live stream. I've spoken of Dr. Stephanie and Tammy. I've spoken of Dr. Whimsy. A couple of other lady friends I have, but all of them brilliant, well-educated, fascinating, creative people. And I've always said a smart man surrounds himself with brilliant women. So enough said there. Okay, one Topol, did I say that? One Topol 1967. Chuck, any thoughts about relocating? Do I have any thoughts? Well, thank you for asking. Time to get out the cards here. Let's see. Thoughts about relocating. I just go by what jumps out of the deck here. Let's make sure I've got everything here. Okay. Well, okay, this one just fell out. I had 3 cards to begin with about relocating. I am getting this. I got the community card. Like it's something to do with where it would be very good for you to be around people. I don't know if that means more people or just different people, but being more community oriented. So perhaps that would be part of a reason for relocating. Now, I get that this is very much a priority for you right now. Um, this is something that leads me to believe that it would be good for you without knowing your whole circumstances, because I got this card, the new beginnings, priorities, community, new beginnings. And just as I'm using my intuition right now, this is the card I said, oh, this jumped out of the deck. This flew out of the deck. The last card, the intuition card, that is telling me, and I've said this to other people who are considering a big move. You know, what does your heart say? What are you feeling? Honestly, what are you feeling? What are you desiring? What are the qualities that you're wanting in a move? Because this is telling me you need to draw upon your own intuition for guidance, and you'll make a decision. But I have a feeling new beginnings are coming up for you. So that sounds potentially positive. Now, I'm just reading on the energy of the moment. That can shift, but that's what I'm getting right now for you. Thank you for asking me. F1 Fanic, I think it shows a lack of compassion if you don't like cats, among other issues they might have. Yeah. I tend to agree with that, actually. I don't want to impugn my beloved sister, but I have thought, why don't you love cats more? What's really going on? Because there's, those of us who have cats know how smart they are, how loving they are, how deeply intuitive they are. And they're emotional. They have strong, strong feelings. And I think they're also very sensitive to energy within our homes and energy within ourselves. And they mirror that back to us. They can actually be a very good gauge of where we are ourselves. F1 Venic, when is Mercury retro over? I keep asking myself that. How much longer? No, I did look it up on my phone. It's around I think it's the 23rd. Now, what time of day in your time zone, I can't tell you, but I think you can look that up. You just go online, like Google search it or something in your area. But yeah, the 23rd. And then, of course, Joyce, you certainly know more about this than I do, but I understand there's that wobble where you're still feeling the effects for a few days afterwards. Oh, great. So, I mean, we got to go through a wobble on top of that, but I cannot wait for this retrograde to be over. This one, sometimes I go through a retrograde and I breeze through it, and this one has been really, really rough. And I'm not looking forward to the heat wave and the humidity tomorrow. And usually here in LA, when we have big heat waves and humidity, that's when we start having electrical blackouts. And I think my really, really big fear is not having air conditioning. That really puts me into a panic. So I hope it's not, here it is, Mercury retrograde. So I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna be a nail biter. But I try to make the best of the retrograde, because I know a retrograde can be used positively. It's a great time to complete tasks that you had already started. It's a good time to be introspective, because I know some people say, oh, don't live in the past, but I believe the past offers us a lot of clues to our own selves. There's so much we can learn, because many times there's things we have not really looked at it or addressed, and that's the perfect time for a Mercury retrograde. But this one's kicking me. Like I couldn't even start my show in time because I didn't have Wi-Fi for 40 minutes. That kind of sums up what's been going on. I don't know, Joyce, if you have anything you'd like to say about the Mercury retrograde, any advice for all the people out here? See what the lessons are. Kelly Jakowski, I wish I could spend more time with all of you, but it's time for you to leave for tonight's chat. Well, thank you for joining. I really appreciate you being here. Yes, cats are amazing. So different from dogs, and yet sometimes they can be a lot alike, because that's one of the things I love about Siamese cats. They have a lot of dog-like qualities. You can teach them tricks like a dog. They will walk on a leash like a dog. Every Siamese cat I've ever had loves to play fetch like a dog. They always come when you call their name, which, cats are notorious for not doing. My Siamese usually will. Right, Sasha? She's in the kitchen. Oh, she hears me. And also, I've had dogs and cats together, and I find my Siamese always coexist very well with dogs. A Warrior Queen's Magic, I had, a lodestone? I'm not familiar with that breed. You called her Lucy for real. Okay, I might as well tell you something funny here since no, I do channeled readings. That's one of my specialties. And Lucille Ball is a soul I call upon a lot. In fact, she was one of the earliest who ever came to me. And she's been like a guardian angel to me. And I know for a fact I've had lifetimes with her. And when I want to get a message from her, I talk to her, I usually just call out Lucy, and I wanted to, at least 2 times, stop calling me. Sorry. Trying to turn this off. There. Okay. I've had a couple of cats I have wanted to call Lucy, and I thought, well, this might present a problem. Me going, Lucy, Lucy. And I thought, well, Lucy, are you going to be confused? And people ask me this question when I'm channeling. Do you hear them speak to you, or do you just get kind of like the emotional feeling and you interpret that? It's a little bit of everything. But I heard her loud as day. I'd know the difference. Just in a very dry delivery. Chuck, I'd know the difference. In other words, if I were calling my cat Lucy. Oh, wait, sorry. Stop calling me. Sorry. Get a little frustrated there. Let me decline that. Now it's appearing on my computer screen. Warrior Queen's Magic 29th is the end of the retrograde. I saw the 23rd. In fact, I don't know if I can look that up right now. Hold on. Let me see here. I'll look it up. We'll do this conclusively here. Okay. When does the current Mercury retrograde end? Okay, let's see what it says. The 23rd. It ends on the 23rd. Thank goodness. I thought the 29th. I don't think I can stand it going on to the 29th. But thank you for that. Jennifer Petunia, I can't wait for the retrograde to end. Joyce Petrus, Rescue Remedy helped you through your grief. It is an amazing formula. It's world famous. I think it's been around for since the 1930s. I could be wrong on that, but I think it was created around 1939 or so. And it's so safe. You can give it to your pets. You can give it to an infant. You can put in their bottle. When I was away in Europe and my cat was having such a rough time while I was gone, I had Anastasia put Rescue Remedy in her water dish, and it seemed to help her. How did I get an autograph from Chaplin? I bought it. I bought it from a reputable dealer, had it authenticated forensically, as I do with all my pieces to make sure they are authentic. But Chaplin would have been hard to get. He died in 1977, and he was also living in Switzerland. Now, it's interesting. The Chaplin Studios, the old Charlie Chaplin Studios, are here on La Brea Avenue in Hollywood, not far from where I live. And also, when I was in London, I think it was, I hope I'm saying the correct end. I think it was the East End of London, which, you know how a lot of those once rundown parts of cities suddenly become very chic with restaurants and shops and million-dollar loft apartments. Well, anyway, the area of London that had once been a slum, that Charlie Chaplin and his mother grew up in, when he was growing up as a child, when they were in dire poverty, were in those slums. And I was in that actual neighborhood. And of course, they have murals painted in tribute to Charlie Chaplin, because that was his old stopping grounds. Jennifer Petunia, What is Rescue Remedy? It's a flower essence. It's a combination of several different flower essences. It's from a company called Bach, Bach, Bach Rescue Remedy. You can find it on Amazon. You can find it probably in just about any health store, and it works. It works. I've heard stories of it being put on the tongues of people in cardiac arrest and actually reviving them. Not that I'm making a medical claim by any means, but I have heard stories of that. But it works fast, surprisingly fast. And I always have a bottle or two on hand. They're just little tiny dropper bottles. I wish I had one here to hold up to show you, but just go on Amazon, BACH, Bach Rescue Remedy. Oh, Jennifer, I didn't even read the rest of your comment. I apologize. You just lost your dad and your brother not long ago. I am so very sorry. I'm sorry I didn't see the rest of your comment there. Oh, my heartfelt condolences to you. Warrior Queen's Magic Charlie shares my day month. Yes, I love that era as well. Yeah. I know I can't remember his birthday. Oh, wait, I think wasn't Chaplin an Aries? I think he was born sometime in April. But I do know that he passed away on Christmas Day, 1977. Ironically, W.C. Fields passed away on Christmas Day, but it was back in 1946. But W.C. Fields had tremendous jealousy of Charlie Chaplin to the point of a rivalry. So it's very interesting that both men died on that same day. Warrior Queen's Magic and my own silent film star on my own, all again. I dress up and manifest in glam face wardrobe as well as on my own. Oh, are you a fan of the movie Sunset Boulevard? Gloria Swanson. I love that film. That is a movie I have seen multiple times, but I swear every single time it ever comes up on, anything like TCM or anything like that, I say I'm just going to watch a few minutes. It sucks you in and you cannot stop watching. And of course, there's the stage musical, which I've been fortunate to see twice, of Sunset Boulevard. I was very lucky to see that back in 1993. I saw it premiered. It had the American premiere here in Los Angeles instead of Broadway. It played here for several months before it went to Broadway, and Glenn Close starred as Norma Desmond. And I was lucky to be the second night was the first night available to the public. The first night was a big grand premiere with all these celebrities and red carpet, and it was not available to the public. So I was there the first night it was open to the public. And it was just one of the greatest stage musicals I've ever seen. And at a time, I think it was the most expensive. They recreated all of Norma Desmond's mansion on stage, and they had it rigged so it would rise up so they could have a second stage underneath it, and they could have action taking place there while there was things happening on the mansion set, like the Joe Gillis New Year's Eve party took place below that, while you see Norma Desmond running up the stairs, to slash her wrist while the small quartets with their violins are playing. I mean, it was just incredible. And then, and this is a funny story, or not so funny at the time, my sister flew out here because we wanted to. Barbra Streisand was performing in Anaheim at the time, and so she wanted tickets for Barbra Streisand, and she wanted to see Glenn Close in Sunset Boulevard. Fine. So I did that, and we had it all arranged, and she flew out here, and we found out that Barbra Streisand had laryngitis and had to cancel her show that night. We weren't too happy, but we went to the box office at the Schubert Theater in Century City, beautiful theater, which has since been bulldozed, by the way. It doesn't exist anymore. It was incredible. We went to the box office, and we wanted to see if we could swap our tickets on the chance that Barbara's voice would be better the next night. Oh, we're so sorry, but Glenn Close has laryngitis, and her understudy will be performing. And my sister and I were like, I don't believe this. Both of them have laryngitis. So we ended up going on to see Sunset Boulevard with the understudy, and it was a wonderful woman named Karen Mason who was extraordinary. And I wasn't the only one who felt this way. I talked to other people who had seen both versions, the Glenn Close and the Karen Mason versions, and we were all in agreement that Karen Mason was the better of the two. It's just the thing was she was not a name like Glenn Close was. So anyway, boy, I get off track there, but you said that you love silent film stars. And of course, those of us who are Carol Burnett fans, and I am one of the biggest Carol Burnett fans on the face of the earth, met the great lady 3 times. She did her wonderful send-up of Norma Desmond and Harvey Korman as Max. Yes, Miss Desmond. Oh, God. I never get tired of that. Love movies. Madam Max. Cannot find it to see a gain. Love old movies. Oh, let's see. Madam Max. I think there were 2 versions. There was one in the 30s with Gladys George, and then there was a remake in the 60s with Lana Turner. You know, and speaking of Lana Turner, there's a little video piece I may put up. You know, I'm looking for just like great little stories to tell for 1 or 2 minute shorts. And I was reading her autobiography, and she was telling about the time in the 70s. She, you know, when her movie career dried up, she was doing stage. And it was the beginning of those little clip-on wireless microphones. And she forgot to take hers off. And let's turn this off. There. She forgot to turn her microphone off. Yes, you can probably predict where this story is going, because it's been like, if you ever saw, I think it was one of the Naked Gun movies with Leslie Nielsen, they did a big send-up of this premise. It's been played with before. But anyway, she was doing this wonderful stage production, forgot to take her microphone off. And you guessed it, went to the bathroom. The audience could hear everything. They could hear all the noises. And then, as she said in her autobiography, and then they heard the big ka-flush through the whole theater. And I think she got a round of applause when she came back on stage, because everybody knew what it was. Okay, back to comments here. Let's see. What's this here? Let me go back. Okay, I gotta skip down again. Okay, I gotta go way back here. I realize it skipped that much. Yes, Warrior Queen's Magic. It's very sad what the government did to Charlie Chaplin. They basically tried to do it the next year to Lucille Ball. J. Edgar Hoover went after Charlie Chaplin, calling him un-American, accused him of being a communist. And then the next year, you know, when Lucy was accused of being a communist and she almost had her whole career destroyed, it was basically J. Edgar Hoover going after the female Chaplin. And it was just all for sensationalism. It was all smokescreen, as we have seen with our own government, how they do diversions. You know what I mean? This was a big diversion back then. Okay, let's see here. Warrior Queen's Magic, political tarot illustrations would be great on Mini Touch on YouTube. Yeah, I actually am in the throes of designing my own tarot deck, but there's 78 cards. And you see my work, it's very detailed, so it's extremely time consuming. And I think I've only completed about 10 cards in the deck thus far. This is going to take me, I could see this being a 3, 4, 5 year project, but I am working on that because I love the idea of it. And I also have some oracle cards designs of my own. I have one deck I'm very, very close to completing, and I'm writing the booklet to go with it right now. And once that's done, I will announce more. You know, I'm planning to make it available for sale here on my channel. I'm hoping to publish it, get it in a lot of bookstores. I'm very, very proud of it and excited. And plus, I even look forward to doing my own readings with my own oracle cards one day. So you'll see it when it happens. And yeah, I see a lot of people here saying they're having a heat wave. You can see me sweating right now, even though my air conditioner is running. It is just so humid and muggy, and we're just starting right now. Tomorrow is the day they're saying it's going to get bad. I'm like, tomorrow? Getting bad? Okay, let me go to some other comments here. Oh no, Andy. I don't know if I could help you there with that. Finding a lost wallet from a year ago. I don't really, that's not something I really specialize in. I don't really have cards that would show that. Maybe there's somebody out there who would like to pitch in or maybe connect with Andy. I'm very honest about what I can do and what I can't do. I feel integrity is always important, and that's just not one of my specialties. Finding lost items, maybe once in a blue moon, something will come to me. Or if I sat down and did a channeled session with someone, I don't know, maybe, but I'd rather you contact someone who does that better than me. A Warrior Queen's Magic, look for a vintage stall to place to sell your art, a vintage marketplace, rent a booth month to month. Well, yeah, unfortunately, it's very expensive to do that. Maybe one day if I can afford that, I will. But yeah, there are a lot of online places to sell that I'm pursuing. And of course, I use my channel to promote my work. My intuitive readings and my art, show you what I can do, and try not to hard sell. But if you want to reach out to me, you know how to reach me, and I'm more than happy to do any of these things for you. It's my joy. It's my purpose in life, actually. Oh, thank you, Kadam. I did have well, you know what? I had a great birthday. It was a very low key birthday. My birthday was last Wednesday. I didn't do much. I treated myself to a burger and fries at a really nice little local restaurant here that's outdoors, with nice little umbrellas to sit under the trees. And when I say a burger, I mean a really good burger, not one of these fast food things stamped out. One of those things that takes like 20 minutes to make, or they cook it properly and everything, all the garnish. And I had wonderful sweet potato fries. And I sat and I just read my birthday greetings on Facebook. That's one of my favorite things about Facebook, all the birthday greetings and all the love that's out there to be received. So that was mostly what I did. And then I went across the street where on your birthday, this ice cream shop gives you a free cone. And I mean a big 3-scoop waffle cone with the works. So by the time I got home, I was stuffed, and I actually fell asleep on my couch, which kind of made me feel old that made me fall asleep. I didn't mind so much because I was just in Europe. I was in London. I was in Rome. I was in Florence. I was in fabulous restaurants there doing incredible things. And in many ways, that was like celebrating my birthday early. So I was perfectly fine with it being low key and simple. Hopefully there'll be more with more potential in the future. But thank you. Thank you for that. And Warrior Queen's Magic, Bailey passed at 19 too. Oh, it is hard to lose a cat at that age. It's very hard. It's like losing a child. That cat, the one that I talked about, died in 2001. She had been through so much with me. I had her within a few months after I got out of college, and she moved to California with me. And it seems like everything in between during those 19 years, good, bad, ugly, she went through it with me. And she was always so comforting, so sweet. I have to say, the sweetest of all my cats I ever had. Just wasn't a mean bone in her body. She was so friendly to everyone. In fact, I did have people who hated cats say, I don't like cats, but I'd have this one. This cat is special. She really was. Oh, I miss her. Let's see. I better get back to comments here. There's a great book by Madame Pamit, Animals Familiar. I'm not familiar with that. I hope I said the name correctly. Maybe you can tell me just a little more about that, please. Andy, I have a question. Do you know anything about people saying there's a curse on the movie Poltergeist? Um, well, I've heard of that. I could research that a little, but I don't really know a whole lot off the top of my head, other than I think it did start, when the little girl, oddly enough, I remember her name, Heather O'Rourke, died. I think she died of toxic shock syndrome. In fact, I've even walked past her grave because she's buried in the same cemetery where Marilyn Monroe is in Westwood Village. But I've heard some things about the movie having cursed energy. But maybe some other people out there would know a little more about it, could talk about it. Andy, did you know Cher had a twin sister? Say Cher and Cher alike. No, I don't think she actually had a twin sister, but you're making a joke there. Cher and Cher alike. I've actually used that. Oh, by the way, pardon me, I just need to get some water here. I did a portrait of Cher and I posted it on Facebook, and it got a huge, huge response. And a friend of mine works in, I don't want to betray my friend's confidentiality. In fact, she specifically said to me, don't tell people where I work, because it's a building where a lot of celebrities live and she could actually get fired. So I won't say that. But in this building, one of Cher's very good friends lives there. And she took her phone out and showed the picture of Cher to her. And she loved it. And she asked if she could have a screenshot so that she could send it to Cher. And I heard that Cher actually liked my drawing very much. I didn't hear back from her personally, but I thought that was kind of cool that Cher saw it. And I think I even used it on my posting, Cher and Cher alike. She just had her 80th birthday. And let's see, Jennifer Petunia, does my deceased brother and dad have any message for me? I miss them so much. Well, I can try. When I do channel readings, my method is to normally sit down with pen and paper, meditate for a long time, or sit at a keyboard. When I do them spontaneously like that, usually I just pull some cards and I see if there's something offhand that they would like to say. Well, this is a good sign. First card, family. So it is definitely referring to them. I'm just going to see what comes out here. They're saying to you, let's see, I don't know if there's any kind of business that you're trying to tend to right now, anything that needs to be resolved, any kind of business in your own life, but they're saying to you to find balance. And I don't know that that's just necessarily business, but balance in itself, balance in your life. Don't go to extremes. Don't wear yourself out on something. Stay balanced. They're saying for you to stay in a state of grace and unconditional love. Now, that may seem like obvious cards to pull, but I get those a lot from the other side. They're reminding people to really appreciate what you've got right here. Remember to find the grace. Remember to find unconditional love for your own self. I just heard that loud and clear. Unconditional love for your own self, because it's much easier on the other side to be an unconditional love. You're in a purer state. We tend to be far more challenged here on earth because we're so wrapped up in so many things going on in our lives. Like maybe that's what they mean by business and finding balance. They're reminding you, hold on to that unconditional love for yourself. Find that. They have it right now where they are. If it's any comfort to you, I always hear it over and over how good it is. It's very good over there. Mostly they're happy. They're happy over there. I know, like my mother told me that when she was on the other side and made that very clear. It's almost like they're saying, it's easier for them over there than it is for us here. We're dealing with all of our stuff here, all of our challenges and everything. So they're reminding you to be in your unconditional love for yourself and to proceed in your life with grace and proceed forward with your business and find balance. So I hope that makes sense for you. And I hope that gives you at least a little bit of comfort. Let's see. Here we go. See if I can make out your name here. Silk is Steel's Kitchen Witchery. Silk is Steel's Kitchen Witchery. Did I say that right? You can send light and magic. A new subscriber just subscribed to your channel and gave a thumbs up. Well, thank you so much. Sorry to take so long to get back to you here, but it's a lot of comments and a lot of talk. You said that you did a projection jar for Mercury retrograde on your channel. So far, it's working. You haven't had any problems. I tell you what, what is your channel? Is that the name of your channel? I'm going to write that down so I don't forget this. I am going to look for it. I'll look for your video. Silk is Steel. Sorry, I'm working on stuff on the air, answering phones and stuff, and I'm writing this down, but I don't want to lose this in case I can't pull the comments up again. I will look for you. Thank you. Thank you. Warrior Queen's Magic bills are going up, up, up. No help from the SS regime. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's scary. I just saw on the news because of what's going on, the war, Strait of Hormuz and so forth, and how the fighting's escalating again. They said get ready for oil prices to go through the roof again, which of course is going to mean very high gas prices for us, which is if they weren't high enough already. And of course, that affects transportation, that affects grocery costs, shipping costs. It just trickles down everywhere. And so many people I talk to are being challenged financially right now. But for whatever it is worth, when I do readings with Dr. Whimsy on the show, when we're on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we keep getting over and over, it is going to improve. It is going to get better. There are going to be a lot more jobs opening up. It is going to start to ease up, even though we are in like the thick of it right now. It's kind of like that cliche about the dark in the tunnel before you start to see the light. Jennifer Petunia. Oh, hi. Oh, you're saying you subscribed to channel 2 weeks ago. Well, I'm glad to know about you, and I'm very honored to have you here. Thank you for joining. And we welcome you. Warrior Queen's Magic. Should I restart my Janome sewing machine again? Having threading issues. Well, I mean, offhand, I would wonder about the expense of restarting it, what that would entail. But let's see if I get anything here. Hold on, I've got to put my cards back together. Reshuffle. Usually I don't get asked such specialized questions like that are so specific, but let's see here. I don't know if it's going to tell me something about a sewing machine. Because usually when I'm doing these cards, I'm doing them for people and not machines. But let's see how it pertains to you. Is this a machine that you have loved, that it gives you joy to work with? Because it's interesting. I got the devotion card, like you're devoted to this machine. And there's a part of you that really loves it and would like to get it going again. But what concerned me, I've never had this card for a machine, but for a person, but I got exhaustion. Like it's something that's really worn out. Like it's seen better days. It's like you're going to have to put some money into this and effort if you really want to use this machine again. And I know how things can be comforting. Like I used to love to type on my dad's old typewriter, for example, things like that. It just felt good. It felt comforting. I once had some old appliances that belonged to my mother, mixing bowls also and things like that, but it just gave me comfort. I used her her mixer until it finally just burned out. And that was a very, very old mixer. I think she even wondered why I wanted it. And also her waffle iron until it burned out, which burned out very quickly because it was so old. So sometimes things do have sentiment and attachment, and they make you feel comforted and they make you feel inspired. So I'd say if it's worth that to you, maybe have it repaired. But I'm just sensing, like, when I got that exhaustion card, that machine has seen better days, and it might take some money and work to get it going again. And I'd say if sentiment is not an issue for you, maybe one of the more modern machines would be to your liking, and with all the bells and whistles and everything. So that's what I just got right there. And Soka Steel Kitchen Witchery, you just finished a live stream a little while ago. Hey, we have a kinship here. Live streams are fun, aren't they? You're probably like me. You just love connecting with all the people out there and all the energy that's there. And Bengal cats are the best for that. Oh, Bengal cats are amazing. Have a little bit of the wild about them too, but that's something I love. I'm trying to remember. I think years ago I had a friend who had one. What was this Warrior Queen's Magic? Gonna grab a white wine sip and listen to Chuck's soothing voice. Oh, aren't you sweet? Aren't you sweet to say that? I've had people say that to me. I don't know. I just talk and it comes out. Though, you know what? I would love to do audiobooks sometime. That's something I'd really like to pursue. Whenever Jennifer Petunia, I'm not lucky at catching lives. I will be on the lookout. Silka Steel Kitchen Witchery. Lucy is hilarious, and I wouldn't mess with her. Well, Lucy and I think she wouldn't mind me saying this, we have past lives. We have past life connections. She was one of the first who ever came to me. Anybody who does channeling, I've talked with others, we grapple in the beginning. Is this just my imagination? Am I really hearing this person? But she came to me quickly. I loved her very much. I've loved Lucille Ball since I was 2 years old. My big sister said I used to walk up to the TV screen and hug the TV. I mean, I loved her that much, going back that far. I always felt a connection with her. And I was even lucky to sit in the studio audience for an episode of her last series, Life with Lucy. Because people ask me, did you ever meet Lucy? Well, no, but I did get to see her in person. And the strange thing is, after Lucy died, I then started meeting like her son, her daughter, Gary Morton, her husband. I got to meet almost everybody alive who had ever worked on I Love Lucy or worked behind the scenes in the show. I started meeting friends of hers. Una White was her name. She was the choreographer of MAME. She and I got to know each other. I got to become close with Lucy's very best friend. It was like Lucy started sending all these people to me after she died. And I was like, where were you when you were living? And I guess it just wasn't in the stars. For some reason, we weren't meant to meet in person, but she came to me so fast. I mean, within 3 days of her death, I knew. Don't ask me how I knew, but I knew she was with me. And she comes to me all the time. And Stephanie and Tammy, I don't know if they're still out there or not, but on the 65th anniversary of I Love Lucy, I threw a party here. An I Love Lucy party, and I Love Lucy cake, and I Love Lucy cookies. I put red dye in the martinis, red theme hearts. And we could all feel Lucy's presence with us. We knew she was with us. And this is something that's really spooky, or it shouldn't be spooky to me now, but I was in the kitchen the day before decorating the cookies, trying my best with cake icing to make hearts and I Love Lucy logos. And cake icing is not an artistic medium that agrees with me very well. I'm not talented with that, but I was trying my best to make I Love Lucy cookies. And just for the fun of it, I said out loud, Lucy, are you going to be at my I Love Lucy party tomorrow night? And I swear to God, this is true. That very second, the View was on TV. I have a little TV in my kitchen. Joy Behar went, Lucille Ball, right out loud. The second I asked that question. So I thought, yeah, I guess you're going to be at my party, Lucy. And love it. We loved it. She was with us that night. But Lucy is hilarious. But when you say you wouldn't mess with her, Lucy and I get each other. We understand. We have understanding. In fact, I have read my channeled messages from Lucy several times on my show with Whimsy, and there's several I'm going to adapt for my channel. I want to shoot new videos and maybe revise some of them. There was one where Lucy was talking about when she was accused of being a communist, and she was warning, look, if the government could go after me, they can do the same to you. That was basically her message, modernizing it for today. And I really want to put that up again and see if she wants to tweak it a little, add anything to it. But she's given me some very good messages. But usually when I read my messages, people are surprised because Lucy was a very, very serious woman. She knew how to act funny. She knew how to play comedy, but she was not a funny person necessarily in real life. She could be quite stern. So I was rather surprised when I read a really serious message from her on the show, the response I got, because I think people were expecting Lucy Ricardo and all that, all the bubbliness and cuteness and everything. No, instead it was this very serious, gravely serious woman. And I had comments from people saying, well, sounds to me like she didn't ascend to the other side and she's still stuck in this world and on. I was like, no. If there's anybody who rose to a very high place, it was Lucy, because she made a lot of people laugh and brought a lot of high vibrational energy to this world. She continues to bring high vibrational energy to this world and uplifts and heals a lot of people. But anyway, I better go on with my comments here. What was this here? Warrior Queen's Magic, my money lodestone. You need name them lodestone for money magic. I ring the bells, sprinkle the the magnetic sands oils. Say, Lucy, bring me that lottery money. Yeah, I do some things like that sometime. Soka's Kitchen Witchery put on Do Not Disturb. I've tried that. For some reason, this person still keeps calling me even when I do that. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. So you're saying you didn't see any of your stuff? That's because I hadn't gotten to it yet, obviously. Okay, now I'm reading your comments, and I gotta go a little faster here. Yes, Chaplin was an Aries. Joyce Petrus. The Mercury retrograde is right on my natal sun, Venus, and today the moon is conjunct them too, plus transiting. Jupiter is conjunct your natal Mercury. Jupiter amplifies. Boy, is it ever. Just Misky, Chuck, going through a difficult time. I'm so sorry. Do you see us coming through it anytime soon? Yes, I do. As I was mentioning earlier, Whimsy and I have done readings on the show, and we're getting that consistently that it is going to be better. We do see, like, for example, more jobs opening up, more money flowing. It's just going to take time. This is just a extraordinarily rough period, and certainly, as Joyce would bear out, this retrograde is not helping things one bit. But no, I feel we are going for better times. Okay. This just skipped on me. Let me go back. Let me go back here. It skipped on me. Okay, let me go back. I apologize. Okay, Andy is saying, speaking of Gloria, I love when Carol Burnett portrays her character on the Carol Burnett show. Oh yeah, Gloria Swanson. Yeah, we had mentioned that. Andy, can I do a picture of Red Skelton? I probably can. I've got a list of people I've got to do first before I could get around to that. But yeah, I could do Red Skelton. I loved Red Skelton. I wish that his work was better revived. There like 2 or 3 generations now. I don't even know who he was, though you can find his complete shows on YouTube now. I'm very happy to say the full hour-long episodes, and you might want to check them out. Let's see. Let me go here. Silk is Steel Kitchen Witchery. I'm in Tucson. It's over 100 degrees. We're flooding and we're having monsoons. Oh, it's just starting apparently. Yeah. I think I saw in the weather forecast, they called it monsoon weather, where I guess it's a lot of the moisture probably coming up from the Gulf of Mexico. I mean, from the Baja area, the Baja Gulf and Pacific. I believe that's where it's coming from, but it is just this miserable, muggy weather. And you're lucky you live on high ground, so I'm sure it's cooler for you there. And also you're safer from flooding, that's for certain. Warrior Queen's Magic, our heat wave starts tomorrow. And what was it? NE and SE. Well, I mean, it's starting for us here too. Oh yes, Warrior Queen's Magic, St. Joseph are lost, I think. Is it St. Joseph or St. Andrew? That's something we could look, it's easy enough to look up. The patron saint of lost things. So Castillo Kitchen Witchery. Good, maybe you can help Andy there. So you said you were making a tarot deck, and then you said oracle. Is it an oracle or a tarot? Oh, I'm doing both. I'm doing both. I'm so sorry. I thought I was clear on that. I have the oracle deck almost completed. The tarot deck was the one I was saying. I think that's going to be a 3 to 5 year project because of 78 cards. And, I've even tried streamlining them and reducing detail, and I'm not happy with them. I'm just not happy with them. I put a lot of detail into my art, and I know I'm not going to be satisfied unless I give my all to them. But I have an oracle deck that's close to completion, and I have several others that are in the planning stages. But this one in particular is almost done, and I almost have the booklet written for it. So I hope that clarifies it for you. Yes, St. Anthony for Lost Things. Yes, Warrior Queen's Magic. I was definitely blessed with travel this year. That was my first major trip to Europe, 17 years. It's about time to go back again. I was going to go in 2020, and we had this little inconvenience called the pandemic lockdown. And then I let my passport expire and so forth. And but had a great time. Or Queen's Magic, Bailey is a dog past, not a cat. Oh, I apologize if I made a mistake there. We've been talking so much about cats. I'm so sorry about the loss of Bailey. When Silk is Steel Kitchen Witchery, I have new moon rituals to perform. Love, light, and magic, everyone. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. We need it. Warrior Queen's Magic. Do you believe in love after love? Actually, I do. And I get that a lot when I do readings through people about loved ones from the other side. The love is very much still there. There was one reading I did for a woman. She wanted to, I don't think I'm betraying privacy or I'm not giving names, but she wanted to remarry. And she was very, very worried about her late husband not approving. And I was successful in contacting her with her. And I got this image of him like dancing and happy. And he was basically, the gist of what he was saying was, honey, I'm dead. I'm here on the other side. You're there. You're still living. Live your life to the fullest. Be happy. If this man makes you happy, go for it. Hey, said, I promise you, it's not going to affect the bond that you and I have. Nothing will ever come between that. And it was very, very touching. We were both moved by it. And Jennifer, oh, you're very welcome for the reading. I hope that was some help to you. And I'm sorry it's been a difficult time. And I hope it gets better for you. Just Misky, the skeletons in the pool scene were real. You're talking about poltergeist. Yes, I had heard that. And there's this theory that that's what started the curse. A lot of people died, including Dominique Dunn, who played the older sister. Tragedy after tragedy. You know, I am loosely familiar with that. I'd have to look into it more. I just remembered, of course, Heather O'Rourke. But yeah, I had heard that there was theories there had been a curse on that movie. And yeah, you are reminding me there were real skeletons in that pool scene. Oh, God. I would not have wanted to have been one of the actors in that movie around that. You have to be really, really careful. Shannon Gates, 9627. Hello, Chuck. Thank you for mentioning your connection with Lucy. I had a very vivid dream that Lucy was talking to me, telling me everything was going to be okay. A few days later, Doris Day passed. Oh, I know that the two women knew each other. But yeah, no, I have a feeling that that was authentic. You know, when you're in a dream state, that's often where you are the most receptive to talking with the other side. I've told the story. She's come to me in dreams several times when she, you know, I think I've told this story. Very dramatic. It was when I was working with Bart Andrews on a sequel to the I Love Lucy book, which we didn't get published, but that's another story. But I was working on my computer, and this was back in the days when computers would crash and you'd lose everything you'd been writing. And that happened to me. I was writing about Lucy's step grandmother, and I was a little too opinionated. I thought that her grandmother was abusive to her, and Lucy apparently was not happy with what I wrote because my computer crashed. I lost 3 hours of writing, and I was so upset. I was just beyond upset, and I went to bed, and it was during the middle of the night. Lucy was right in my face. I still remember those blazing blue eyes, blazing with rage. I did not like what you wrote about my grandmother. More or less, she was saying to me, I made that computer crash. I did not like what you wrote. You look here. I loved my grandmother. My grandmother was not cruel to me. You see, little backstory here. Lucy's grandmother was a perfectionist who made Lucy do chores over and over, like sweep the front porch over and over until it was pristine, make her wash a dish 5 or 6 times until it sparkled. And I thought that was cruel and psychologically abusive. And Lucy was hungering for affection as a child. You know, her mother was away a lot working, and her father died when she was young. And so Lucy was saying to me, I'm paraphrasing all this, but Lucy was basically saying that she associated strict discipline with being loved and being cared for. And then Lucy went on to say to me, look, everybody thought I was a bitch. Everybody thought I was such a bitch because I pushed people very hard, but it was because I cared about those people. I cared. I wanted people to be their best. It was my way of showing my love. And people called me a bitch. And I remember the dream was so intense. I bolted awake, you know, like shaking. Have you ever had a dream that real? It makes you shake. I know it was her. And again, the next day, Lucy's very good about giving me signs when she's around. The next day I was walking around in Pasadena, and I couldn't get that dream out of my mind. And this was early on. I still worried that it was just my overactive imagination. I said, Lucy, if that was really you, I want you to give me a sign. I swear to God, turn my head, and in the store window is a big I Love Lucy pillow. The second I turned my head, I was like, okay, Lucy, I got the message. So that's the kind of relationship we have there. So I have a feeling that was her coming to you in a dream. She's stern, but she's loving, and she's very caring about the welfare of people, and especially with people she knows who love her. She once gave me a message for someone who's going through some hard times, and he's a big Lucy fan. And she said, you tell this man that every time he laughs, He's sending love to me. He's honoring me. And you tell him also that if he wants me to sit beside him, all he has to do is call my name and I'll come and sit beside him, watch I Love Lucy. So maybe that's true for you too. And I don't think Lucy minds me telling that. What was this Warrior Queen's Magic? I already have a Jano machine. Well, I understood you to say that it wasn't working, that you were worrying about starting it up, about having to thread it. That's what I was getting there. Like that machine needs some repair, and maybe you would just like to get a new machine, or maybe that machine gives you joy and fulfillment, and that's why you want to hold on to it. That's what I was understanding from that. Maybe I misunderstood the question. Let's see. Joyce Petrus, I'm sick and tired of Dear Leader. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. We'll talk about that more on Whimsy's show tomorrow. Oh, that's sweet. You had a dream about Doris, because you know something, if Doris, I started to say, if Doris is in heaven, of course she's in heaven, and I'm sure her personal heaven is being with dogs. I even saw a cartoon after she passed away. It showed her with angel wings and a halo and in the clouds greeting St. Peter, and St. Peter saying, Miss Day, we want to appoint you in charge of the Rainbow Bridge. I'm sure she would have happily have taken that. Yeah. No, I think Lucy was looking out for you. What was this here, Warrior Queen? Yes, I'm exhausted by the brother having issues, not even stitches, but my genome needs to thread it up. The genome was new, but I'm afraid to start it up. Now, why would you be afraid to start it up? I don't know. I was understanding you that like you were having problems with it. So maybe I misread the whole thing there. But why are you afraid to start it up? Maybe you could tell me a little bit more there, please. Oh, Joyce, you just gave Maya her treat. That's your kitty cat. Hey, Randy DeMille. Hello there. Any natural, okay, this parasite, any natural antiparasitics you might suggest? Yes. Oil of oregano is quite powerful. Grapefruit seed extract, that's quite strong. Wormwood, black walnut, those are antiparasitic. Your probiotics, very, very helpful. Probiotics. Garlic is good for that. Let me think. Black walnut, wormwood, garlic, grapefruit seed extract, oil of oregano. Those are the probiotics. Excuse me, I had a brain fart there. Those would all be helpful, but also be very, very careful of that. Like they're suggesting, like washing your vegetables, your lettuce, wash your hands a lot. I don't know if it's airborne or not. I need to learn more about it, but it's starting to become rampant. And what I'm noticing also is a lot of people are becoming frightened by it. And sometimes fear in itself can manifest these things. Warrior Queen's Magic, should you get another doggy? Well, that's something, how would that fit in with your lifestyle? Do you have other pets you have to worry about compatibility with? But offhand, it certainly it feels good to me. It feels good. I'm just sensing joy, just joy from another doggy. Like it's going, yes. It's almost like there's a little doggy out there, a little doggy soul that's waiting to be united with you. Let's see. I just went for the first card on the deck. Gifts. I think so. I think it's a good idea. But that's something for you to make your final decision there. F1 Fanic, you didn't find Lucille Ball a little obnoxious? Oh, no. I think it's because I know her too. Feel funny saying that. I know her so well. Well, I do know her so well. I understand her. I understand her motivations. It's like the story I just told about the dream, where she was like right in my face. I did not like what you wrote about her, but I got where she was coming from. You see, that was just Lucy's personality. That was her approach. She could be very forthright, very frank, very honest, but her heart was huge. So no, I don't find her obnoxious. At least me personally. I'm sorry that came across that way for you. What was this? Warrior Queen's Magic, Betty Davis, Doris Day were awesome. Lots of Aries in Hollywood. Why? I am an Aries. Love the arts, theater, glam, creativity, arts, books, history. Well, most Aries I know are very forthright. They're tough. They can be angry, but sometimes you can harness anger and use it to your advantage. You know, anger can be used like rocket fuel. And I find that trait amongst a lot of Aries. They're very tough people, but at the same time, most Aries I know are also very loving, very generous, very heartfelt, sensitive. And so if you can marry those qualities together, I think it's a good recipe for success in a business that is extremely hard, especially for women. Especially, you know, it's the women who are really tough who survive. If any of you saw my channeled message with Marilyn Monroe, the one I did on the anniversary of her 100th birthday, I've told you this: whenever I get Marilyn, I get street smarts. I don't get that that victim. No, I get vulnerability from her. I meant to say I don't get that victim label that people want to put on her, biographers want to put on her. Marilyn was even saying to me, look, I made my own choices and I was tough and I survived. And when you consider that woman was several years the #1 box office draw in Hollywood, that's not an easy thing for a man or a woman to achieve in one of the hardest industries in the world. And it's one thing to get there. It's another thing to stay there and survive there. And of course, she hung on for a number of years. So I think she was a tough, tough woman. Now, she was not an Aries, but I bring that up as an example. So that's my own little spin on that. Well, yes, I am going to put up some of my Lucy channelings. I'm going to record some of the ones that I've already done. And as she's always said to me, look, you're ever in a bind, you need an extra channel, I'm here for you. So she'll always give me a message. But I rarely do that live. I like to sit down in a meditative state when I do my channeled readings, and that's how it best comes to me. But I will share some with you. She's my favorite to channel. I've had to sometimes resist not doing too many channeled readings from her and give time to others. But great soul. And I just love tapping into her energy. I've done a lot of portraits of her, so I've spent a lot of time in her energy in that way. And I've always said that literally and figuratively, she's the most colorful person I've ever illustrated in my whole life. Okay, let's see here. Let me go back here. Okay. Yeah, Warrior Queen's Magic, highest foreclosures, bankruptcies, sadness. It's just such a growing tragedy, and a lot of it's been unnecessary, in my opinion. And we know the reason why behind it. What is this? Warrior Queen's Magic. Why don't you channel Say Join? I'm not sure if I understand your question. Why don't you channel Say Join? Maybe you could explain that one. I don't know quite what you mean there. Shannon Gates 9627. Sorry to hear you lost all that work. Lucy was very protective of her family. Well, yeah, you know what? I lost the work, but here's the thing. Lucy gave me much better information. She clarified something that, frankly, I was being a little judgmental and ignorant about, just looking at the surface of it, going, oh, well, this was abusive, what her grandmother did to her. Lucy was saying, no, No, it was not abuse. It was love. And frankly, it instilled a work ethic in Lucy that probably is a big force behind her comedy. Made things like I Love Lucy possible. So I'm actually happy it happened, but it's just a story to tell. Oh wait, Warrior Queen's Magic. Why is it doesn't your channel say join? We cannot join, only subscribe. Um well, I'm not set up for joining. By that you mean like paid memberships, that type of thing. I'm not set up for that, but just for subscribing right now. But I'll work on that. Thank you for the suggestion. Um, what was this, Andy? There's two other people you love dogs, and that was Ken Weatherwax and also Curly Howard of the Three Stooges. Oh, wait, Warrior Queen's Magic. It's your second machine, like a backup, like a backup boy toy. Okay, I was just getting something there about it. Like something that needed to be fixed on it or something. I don't know, but your second machine. So it's a backup. But anyway, I hope that the machine works for you. It gives you joy. And I'm assuming that sewing is creativity for you. And I know people who just find it very comforting. Kadam, yes, I mentioned oil of oregano, elderberry. Now, elderberry is more antiviral, and it's one of the best. But yeah, black seed oil is good. Kombucha, basil, mint, ginger, clove. Yes, thank you. Yeah, I know that ginger and clove are especially good as anti-parasitic. And let's see here. And Stephanie, no, did you get my request for a reading? No, I didn't see that. Did you, Stephanie, did you put it in the comments here or did you send me a message? No, I didn't see that. I'm so sorry. And I'd love to read for you. Do you mean right now or what? Just a second. Let me go through some other comments here. Tell me what you requested and I'll get to that. Tatum Basil Rathbone was a dog lover. He lived in Las Vegas with many dogs. Ava Gabor had corgis. I met Ava Gabor. Did you mean Ava Gabor or Ava, or do you mean Ava Gardner? It says it's Ava like Ava Gabor, and I didn't know that's a spelling mistake or something. Ava Gardner. I was going to say Ava Gabor. I met her once. She's a very, very sweet lady. Just Miss Gay, I was recently in my hometown. I feel very connected to my ancestors, especially my great grandmother. Does she have a message for me? I'll check in just a moment. Let me get through some of these comments here and I'll get back to that. I'm concerned I missed Stephanie's request there. Let me go back here. It jumped on me. What was this here? Playboy areas. Word Queen Magic. Yes, I love it. Sewing, designs, decorating, jet lemongrass, milk thistle. Well, milk thistle is a good liver cleanser. Teas with chai, that may help also. But I think the things we mentioned earlier are going to be a lot stronger. Like I know grapeseed extract, very strong. I know oil of oregano to be very strong. Black walnut, wormwood, clove. You can also get some really good combinations in health food stores that combine a lot of these things together that are anti-parasitic. So let's see here. I better get to Stephanie here. I didn't see your request for a reading. Stephanie, did you have a specific question for me? Please, I'm so sorry. I didn't see it in the comments. Let's see. I'm going back here. Let me see if I can find it. So sorry. This has just been a Mercury retrograde day. Very much so. I'm trying to see if I see a comment from Stephanie here. Going back, because I feel bad if I miss this. Okay, Stephanie, I'm not seeing your request here. Okay, I'm going. Did you send it on my phone, maybe? Okay, let me go. I'm going way back. I'm not seeing your request for a reading. Well, I see the comment about, yeah, your movie, but I'm not seeing a request for a reading. I'm so sorry. I wonder if it didn't go through. Okay, keep going. I'm so sorry, folks. I'm trying to be fast here. Going. Okay, Stephanie, maybe you can tell me. Did you put it on my phone? Let's see. Let me check. I'm curious now why I didn't see this. I just want to check myself here. No, it's not on my phone either. Oh, Stephanie, just send it to me again, please. I'm so very sorry. I don't think it went through. And let's see here. Let me go back up here because there was a request. I was recently in my hometown and feel very connected to my ancestors, especially my great grandmother. Does she have a message for you? Okay. She's telling you to take care of your physical body. I won't elaborate further. That's what I'm getting. I got the physical body card. I'm hearing her just take care of your health. Watch your health right now. She feels that you have been in despair. And so maybe that's one of the reasons she's telling you to take care of yourself right now. But she wants me to remind you that you are a natural leader. You have leadership skills, maybe even more so than you realize. Really draw upon your natural leadership skills right now. And even the image, I use a lot of the images on these cards as prompts, being led upward, going up on the ladder. And I feel that that's how you're going to climb out of despair, through your own initiative, your own power, your own leadership, your own initiative, your gumption, your fighting spirit. Call upon that. You are a born leader, and you can rise above and even bring others up with you. But do watch your health right now. I'm not saying that's anything bad. She's just saying just be careful of your health right now. Watch out for that. So that's the message I got. Okay. Ava Gardner. Okay. Boy, that confused me. She spelled her name AVA and you spelled it EVA. And that's how Ava Gabor spelled her name. And then I saw the GA. That's why I thought that might be it. But Ava Gardner. Oh, beautiful lady. I loved her. Oh, yeah. Andy just looked it up. Ava Gardner. Warrior Queen's Magic. Also do a spiritual bath. Part of the parasite is growing. Cases are up and the lantern flies are evolving again. Yikes. Yeah. Be very careful. Be very careful. I think it's a good idea to put things like garlic and oil of oregano in your regular diet right now. Even though it may make you smell a little, it's very helpful. In fact, one of the things I do is make a homemade wellness shot. I don't know if you're familiar with wellness shots. You can usually get them in health food juice bars. I have a juicer, so I make my own, where I use real cloves of garlic. I use fresh ginger, cayenne pepper, and oil of oregano. And I mix it all together. It tastes like bloody hell. It's the worst. It just will make you gag, but you have to just chug it down. But it's really good if you feel like the first signs of a sore throat, a cold, flu, anything like that. But also it does have strong anti-parasitic properties, and it's safe as can be if you can get past the nasty taste. And I think right now it might not be a bad idea to do that at least once a day. Okay, yes, save a Gardner. Andrew, going has gone, and a long fly ball into the center field for a home run. Shannon Gates, any chances you might have a message for me from my parents? Shannon Gates. Okay. I'm being simple with these cards here. I'm just going by the one or two that jump out of the deck. You're being told to take some chances and some risks with your life. And that could be just small things, but nonetheless, take some risks, some chances, but also at the same time, be very disciplined. It's a combination of being disciplined. It's kind of that saying, keep one foot on the ground, but keep reaching for the stars. Pardon if you'll pardon a cliche. It's like be very grounded in your discipline, but also be unconventional and take some risks here and there, because that's where you find some of the best rewards in life. And it's where you grow and it's where you evolve. It's about being disciplined, but also getting out of your comfort zones. So that's what I received there. Let's see. Did the Mega Man keep the time clock change up? Oh, yeah. I heard that there is a bill that's close to passing where they'll keep daylight savings time permanently. I think that's what you mean by the time clock. Forgive me if I misunderstood. Imhurst, hi everyone. I'm having serious logistical difficulties. Oh my God, still having serious logistical difficulty scheduling a flight back to Boston from Florida with my two cats. Oh my goodness, I was hoping you were home by now. Remember that reading I did for you? And I said, I see it being safe, but I see glitches for you. It's like hiccups. And oh, that's such a shame. Your brother's helping you because he has a lot of miles, but drowned his iPhone. Somebody read that. I'm having serious logistical difficulty scheduling a flight back to Boston from Florida with my two cats. Oh my goodness. Oh, everybody say some prayers. I hope you get home and I hope your cats are okay, because I know, your cat Bart is quite ill. And I imagine the traveling is particularly difficult for Bart. I hope there's a higher reason behind this, and I hope you get home soon. Oh gosh, I can't stay on here much longer. I've been almost 2 hours. I'm trying to get people's questions here. Anything from my grandma Vivian? She was a music teacher, piano and wrote. I miss her so much. She was always a witch granny. I like that, a witch granny. Okay. Just shuffling cards here so it comes out. This was the main card. This was what came out first. Community. I feel like she's telling you to get involved with people, your community. That could be small scale, larger scale, whatever you're comfortable with. But it's kind of like what I said earlier, someone about getting out of comfort zones. It's like she wants you to do more community things, and because that's going to lead to new beginnings for you. And she's also saying, and I get this a lot from the other side, take some time to yourself, meditation time, quiet time, and really listen to your intuition. That's going to tell you where to go. And also, I hear that a lot from the other side, because people saying, please develop your intuition, because I'd very much like to talk to you and guide you if you would just be receptive to listening more and feeling more, because we all have the ability to do this. I think that's why the intuition card comes up a lot. Let's see, Warrior Queens are eating garlic, hot peppers, or oregano, dried, nothing fresh. No, folks, thinks China gave us something. CDC says no information on where parasite came from. Well, something else, COVID is starting to turn up again. And there are theories it's because a lot of people got lax about getting vaccinated. And, in fact, I hadn't been vaccinated for a while. And I'm 2 weeks before I went to Europe, because I knew I was going to be on a plane, exposed to a lot of people. I got my booster shot. But COVID is on the rise. There's even, I think there's strong speculation, if it wasn't actually confirmed, that Lindsey Graham contracted COVID traveling back from the Ukraine, and that with his pre-existing heart condition, and of course, COVID can induce inflammation and blood clots. So yeah, be mindful of that, folks. So, it's a personal decision. I know vaccines can be controversial for people. Do what's you feel is right for yourself. But yeah, we definitely got to be careful right now. And I think these things we've been throwing about, natural things you can do for yourself, like I even mentioned my homemade wellness shots, which taste horrible. They're safe as can be, and they are strongly anti-parasitic. Oh, Sharon Gates, thank you that resonates for you. Thank you so much. And Warrior Queen's Magic. Thank you. I use this deck. It's the Sonia Choquette Ashker guides. Only I don't use the guidebook. I use them my own way because I use them as intuitive prompts, and I just find they work well for me. Oh, hi, Jess. I'm glad that resonated for you too. Warrior Queen's Magic, we in Northeast cannot deal with the early days and falls, especially in this economy of doom. Well, economy of doom for how it appears right now. But please keep in mind, Whimsy and I have been getting, as I've said before, that we feel it is going to start getting better in the coming months and with the economy and more jobs happening. But right now, yeah, it's not good for a lot of people. Oh, hi, Joanna. Hi. What a delightful surprise to hop on and see you on live. What's a delightful surprise to have you here. I've asked my friends to pull a card for my recent birthday. Can you be one of my friends? Of course I can be one of your friends. I'd love that. You know what came out of my deck? Epiphany. Joanna, I think you're due for an epiphany, some great idea, some great concept, some idea is just going to come to you. That's what I get. You're in for an epiphany. That's the card I pulled for you, and I feel very positive about that. I hope you do too. Jennifer, I was so sick with COVID at the beginning. Horrible illness. Oh, I know several people who had COVID. I was very fortunate that it didn't hit me, but we were all so vulnerable in those beginning months before we had any vaccinations or anything. And there was also, it's the fear of the unknown. There was so much we did not know that was happening and where we were going. And, initially when I got laid off from my job, I was told, oh, it'll probably be about 2 weeks and we'll have you back. Well, the 2 weeks turned it into 4, and then those turned into 8, and those turned into 16, and it just went on and on and on. I mentioned how I had a big trip to Venice, Italy planned for my birthday that year. And I spent it here sitting on this couch, talking to people on the phone. That was my big birthday that year. But I'm terribly sorry you were that sick. And I hope you're doing much better now, because some people are still dealing with side effects from it, from the inflammation. Oh, thank you, Warrior Queen's Magic. I am close to that. I have been informed by YouTube that I now qualify. And I'm just waiting for them to just confirm the final things. So, yes, thank you. Thank you for that. I'm very grateful. Oh, good, Joanne. I'm glad you love this. Oh, Stephanie, are you still here? Or not, I'll send you a message after the show to find out what that is. I'll do your reading for you, but I'm not seeing your comment here. I apologize. I even scrolled back. I don't know why it didn't show up. Warrior Queen's Magic, brain fog. Yeah, low energy for a minute. Yeah, it's just the peak of the retrograde. And as my astrologer Joyce said, it is hitting me hard. And I knew that anyway. So anyway, if that... Wait, Andy, Chuck didn't even see me say goodnight? Oh, I didn't. Well, I was going to get to you, Andy. I'm still talking to some others here. Oh, Stephanie, yes. No, Andy, I haven't said goodnight yet because I'm not finished yet. But Stephanie, please tell me, what was your question? I'm so sorry. I scrolled back and I didn't see your request. I was going to even text you a message after the show if you didn't come up. But what is your question, Whimsy? Stephanie, I said Whimsy. See what I mean about brain fog? I've got to forget the show with Whimsy's tomorrow. So what would you like to ask? I'll just wait till your comment shows up. Jennifer Petunia, my energy stinks. I think it does for many of us. Oh, you're saying good night, Andy. Well, good night to you, Andy. Thank you for joining. Thank you very much. I'll just wait for Stephanie to ask her question here. Waiting. Okay, Imhurst, Chuck, there are many beautiful homes in Italy under 100,000. I've been looking at them on YouTube. Well, you know what? Whimsy has been sending me little videos about affordable houses in Italy, because when I was there, I just fell in love. Just fell in love. And I'm certainly not going to do anything impetuous. Um, no, the thought did cross my mind very heavily. And of course, I'm guilty of that every time I travel to Europe, whether it be Paris, whether it be Barcelona, whether it be Amsterdam. Oh, I want to live here. It's one thing when you're a tourist on vacation. It's another thing when you actually have to go there and pay taxes and divest yourself of everything you have here at home and get a new home. And also with Italy, my use of the Italian language still suffers quite a bit. I've got to get those skills up quite a bit before I can consider that. But I would love to live there. Or at least I'd love to have the means to travel there more frequently. So, Stephanie, what is your question, please? I'm just waiting to hear from you, and I'll read for you. I think you said you're still here. I'll just wait for you to come through. Anybody else have a question real quick while I'm waiting to get Stephanie's question? Or anything you'd like to say before we wrap up this show tonight? It's been going for over 2.5 hours now. Okay, Warrior Queen's Magic. Oh, saying good night. Okay, Stephanie, I'm waiting, waiting on your question. Let me just get something to drink here. And well, okay, Stephanie, I'm not hearing from you. So, oh wait, that's Stephanie calling me right now. Hold on. Hello, Stephanie. I'm still in the air. Hi, I just wanted to get your question. Hello? Hey, I'm still on the air. I'm still on the show. Oh, really? I scrolled back and I don't see your comment. Well, anyway, I don't have you on speaker or anything. So if it's a private question, you can tell me and I won't. Okay. You're working on your second film right now. Okay. Well, let me do that. I need to put the phone down. I okay. Okay. Do you want me to keep the line open or just hang up and go ahead and do it right now? Oh, I'm comfortable. I assure you. I'm just thinking of you. But I've got to put the phone down to do this. I'm going to set the phone down. Okay. Okay. So your question is, are you on the right track with your second film? Yeah. Okay. Intense with the female energy. Right track. Okay. Uh-huh. Oh my God. Oh my God. Two female nuns that fall in love. I hope you don't mind me saying that out loud. Okay. Okay. And you want to know if you're on the right track with this. Yeah. Well, I know that about you. You know what? I know you well enough to know that it's going to be very heartfelt and loving and integrity. I know you well enough, but I also don't have to tell you that it's going to be controversial as all hell. So let's see what I get with the cards here. Are you watching it right now? The show still? Okay, okay. I'm gonna put the phone. You see me talking on the phone. The viewers, boy, this has been a weird show tonight. I mean, all sorts of things are going on. I'm talking on the phone and stuff. But anyway, I'm gonna put the phone down. Let's see if you're on the right track with this film. Okay, just one moment. Okay. Okay, because I know you so well, Stephanie, I'm getting several cards here. Oh my God, well, I'm getting cards describing you, like just off the bat. But let me go forward here. I want to see, are you on the right track? Shuffling cards here. Okay, Stephanie, I've got you in the phone down below, and I've got you watching me on the air here. Okay. Um, what was so interesting, things I know about you already came out. You are such a life force, and I've told you that before, and I also love this because it's got the Aphrodite on here, Venus, emerging from the shell. A lot of your work is around the subject of the goddess and female energy. And I remember I got this for you before, life force. So that right off the top is a good sign. And of course, your creativity is a given. Um, you are very much in your purpose, and you're very much about working with your intuition, hence epiphanies. And what I get is you also are very much about the truth. You're not afraid to tell the truth. And when you do this, there's a lot of light around you, a lot of enlightenment. You're very much in your truth. But let's see here. What else do I have? I feel good about this project, but I do want to say some of the obvious. You're probably going to encounter shadow because there are going to be people threatened by this, because it does touch upon religion. And I certainly don't have to tell you that there are people who find that deeply, deeply, deeply offensive and threatening. So I get the shadow, but I don't get that it's that bad to stop you from doing this. And I think you're aware of this anyway. There is going to be that element of the shadow, but I think you're prepared for that to deal with it. And again, I got your psychic awareness that ties in with intuition. You work very, very intuitively. You're very, very guided. You're very much about your inner child, the playful inner child. You know how to go inward whenever I get solitude. You're very good at being meditative, going into your inner child and playing. But again, there's so much truth in what you do. Epiphany. I do feel there is that shadow, but I think that shadow is just something that you're expecting to have anyway. You may encounter some restrictions. Now, I don't know what that would be exactly, but I'm getting that it's just a lot of people who just find it offensive to do anything that hinges upon religion, Catholicism, showing to nuns in love. Don't be surprised if you, like at some film festivals even, I don't know what that is, but there might be restriction, but I don't think it's going to be serious any more than that shadow. Because what I get ultimately, my dear beautiful friend, gifts and celebration. So Stephanie, I don't know if you heard that. I'm holding the phone up right now. Did you hear all that? Because I am getting gifts and celebration, like it is good, but don't be surprised if you don't encounter some shadow and some restriction here and there, because it is so controversial. But I've never known that to stop you. And I say, go forward with it. Go, because I got the gifts and the celebration. It ultimately is going to be good. You are being divinely guided. You are. So how does that feel to you? It's not often I get to talk to someone on the show live. Does that feel good for you? Do you feel like you are on the right track based on that? Yeah. 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 It's powerful. Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I think it's going to be incredible because I know your work so well. And I know this is what you excel in, taking really controversial hotbed topics. This is what you basically based your career on. You're so good at this that, in my opinion, this is what you're put on this earth to do. You're very good at this. I know, I mean, I'm being very serious with you. Your movies are just so beautiful. And I feel like it would be even a shame, a disservice if you didn't make it, but don't be surprised. Remember that shadow card and that restriction card, and I think you know that yourself. Do not be surprised. You're going to hit some controversy. You might even have a festival that says, "Oh, we can't accept this film" or something. I don't know, but something. Yeah, yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah. So, and you know that as an artist, we all go through. We have to expect the rejections. So that those were the only two cards that bothered me just the slightest. The rejection card, I mean, not the, I'm sorry, the restriction card and the shadow card. But I think that's what you already know. But I got enough cards there bearing out that you are on the right track, because you are in your element when you are taking on these very controversial topics that people normally don't want to touch. That is your God-given gift, and I say go for it. Go for it. It's your God-given gift. Yeah, yeah. Yes, yes. Oh, that's what I mean. That's, remember, I got that card about the I'm sorry. People aren't listening to this conversation. I don't have you on speaker, but I got that card, the truth card. They're holding up the candle, the illumination. You are very good at bringing truth to things that people don't want to look at normally. And so, yeah, I got that vibe. I immediately got that this wasn't just, I'm going to say this out loud. People are going to hear it. I didn't feel you were just talking about nuns having sex. This isn't about nuns having sex or anything. It's about nuns finding love for themselves, finding love in each other, finding the love of God within themselves. Yes, yes. So I feel strongly that it would be a shame if you didn't do this. And I hope you proceed. Okay. I better get back here because I've got people still in the show. I'm gonna. Uh-huh. Oh yeah, we're getting there. I'm getting. Yeah, I promise you that. Oh, love you. Okay, darling. I'm gonna get back to the show and wrap it up. But I'm glad we got to talk in person here. Okay. Bye bye. I'm sorry for that, but um, I probably should have put that on speaker. I don't think Stephanie would have minded. But anyway, I feel she's very much on the right track here with her movies. She is so gifted, and as I said, her real purpose seems to be in taking on controversial hotbed topics, you know, outside of the box. And Stephanie's an Aries. We were talking about that earlier. She has that bravery, that warrior quality that's necessary to bring things like this forward to life. And I know she's going to do well. Okay, let me get back to the comments here, and I've got to wrap up this show. um, Amherst, did my brother intentionally bail on helping me with airline flights? Oh my gosh, I don't know. I've got to wrap up this show. Let me get back to that. Let me check some other comments here. And I tell you what, Warrior Queen's Magic. You can find them on Amazon. It is Ask Your Guides by Sonia Choquette, and you can get these easily on Amazon. I'll hold that up so you can do a screenshot or write that down. Thank you, Angel. I will send you a Venmo. Oh, Stephanie, you're so sweet. Thank you. Okay, I tell you what, I just want to make sure I got through the comments here. Okay, let me do that as a last question tonight, Amherst. Okay, let me put all these cards back together here. And, did your brother intentionally bail in helping you with airline flights? I know that you're feeling a sense of loss right now because of this. There's some hurt, but I don't know yet. Let's see. Family card came up, a sense of loss. And you definitely feel a deprivation right now. Discontent. Did he intentionally bail? I'm feeling like if he did, he's in denial about it. I'm getting that sense that maybe in his conscious mind, oh no, I didn't do anything like that, but maybe subconsciously or something, he's in denial about that. If he did do that, um, uh, let me get the pendulum here. I'm just going to flat out ask a yes or no on this, because this is a little hard to go into. I'm just getting energy like you've got a lot of discontent and heard about this, wondering about this. I'm getting from your brother denial about it. Where did I put my pendulum here? Okay, how do we phrase this? Did your brother intentionally bail on helping you with airline flights? Did he intentionally? Okay, I gotta know. But I think the key word is intentional, conscious, intentional. I don't know why I'm getting something subconscious there. Like there's more to it, but he would be in denial about that. Maybe I'm getting the denial card. He's just saying, no, I didn't do this. I didn't intentionally bail on helping you. So it was a strong no with my pendulum. So I'm going to go with he did not intentionally bail out on helping you. That's what I'm getting. That's the best answer I can get for you right now. And let me just speed through this here because I've been on almost 3 hours now and I do have to get off. I've got some other work I have to do tonight. And much as I love being with you and I'm grateful to have you here, your older brother has all the wealth from your father. Oh, sorry about that. You know, that comes up a lot. You know, I've been doing readings for people where they're siblings contesting wills, fighting over inheritances. It is a lot more common than I ever even realized. And I've seen it just completely break apart sibling relationships. I told the story like a week or two ago about my mother did that and disinherited my sister and left everything to me. Only I'm very, very close to my sister. And I said to my sister, okay, mom left me the money, then it's mine to do what I want with, and I want to split it 50-50 with you. I would never let money come between any of my relationships, friends or family, but it goes on all the time. And I have a very dear friend who really, really was counting on the inheritance because he just needed it to live. And he got disinherited along with two of his other siblings, and everything was left to one. Nobody understands why they did it that way. But anyway, I'm sorry. Let's see, less comments here. What is this, Warrior Queen? Thanks, Chuck. Found it, but it's not available to buy on Amazon. It's $17. That's odd. It used to be on Amazon. I'm so sorry. You should be able to find it. Sonia Choquette might have her own website. I know it's available, and you can certainly find it in a lot of psychic bookstores. Let me know if you have trouble. Shoot me a message. Maybe I can help you further. What was this? He has a tendency to offer and renege. Well, I was feeling something around that, but I get that he's in like denial. You know how people want to think they're such good people and they don't want to admit, well, maybe I do some things that are a little shady. I was just getting that denial card there around it. But I did get strong with the pendulum that he's not intentionally doing this to you. That was a very strong no on my pendulum. So I hope that helps give you relief. And Shanna Gates, my beloved cat Jasper, has been missing for 5 days. I'm so sad, sick with worry. Please pray for a safe return. Of course, we all will. Absolutely, folks. Okay, I will be. I'm just waiting on Amazon to come through. Amazon. Okay, I meant to say YouTube. Got my internet companies mixed up. YouTube to come through with the final stages of that, but it hopefully is going to be very soon. And thank you so much for that. Thank you. And I think I have reached the last comment here. I'm going to use that as a chance because I've been on nearly 3 hours now, and I do need to go. I love you. I'm grateful to all of you for coming here for me, sticking out with me, and putting up with all the technical difficulties tonight. Thank you very much. And let's see. And please, if you're looking for original artwork for me, portraits, soul portraits, which I've described, um, if you want a private intuitive reading, which I do over the phone, and I keep my rates very cheap. We can shoot me an email and we can discuss that. I do half-hour and 1-hour readings, and it's in the comments, but dransfieldchuck@gmail.com is how you can reach out to me, and we can set up things. And let's see, I also do, with Dr. Whimsy Anderson and Joel Tilson, a show called Taco Tuesdays on Tuesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. And excuse me. And also, again, on Thursdays on the Oracle Whimsy channel at the same time. And that's where we get into the really hotbed stuff, the politics and the news and Trump. And tomorrow, I'm sure we're going to be talking about Mitch and Lindsay. And, we also do readings on the air for people. And that's that for now. And Warrior Queen's Magic, I promise I'm working on all of that. And thank you for the suggestions. And I thank you all so very much. What was this Warrior Queen's Magic? Whimsy, I will get taco for eating is concerning the Orange Man. Yeah. One day I am going to have a plate of tacos and I do the show with Whimsy. I've always threatened to do that. Anyway, it's about 9 p.m. my time on the West Coast. And I know on the East Coast, it's almost midnight. So I'm going to say goodnight for now. And I thank you very much. And I will be here next week. Goodbye for now.